Welcome to episode 90 of the Reptile Gumbo podcast. 90. You got
Damn, you're creeping on up there, man.
your microphone's not turned on.
90.
There we go.
I just realized while I was driving today that I think we're coming up on a year of me and Katie doing this because we had already been doing it for a while when we were in New Orleans show.
Yeah.
And that was in November, I think, last year.
Was it?
I think so. Maybe it was January.
January.
Fuck, I don't know.
I don't know. I know I've been doing
You
it
know
for
what
90
though?
episodes.
I can scroll through and find out.
Yeah, we're just all looking at each other like we don't have the technology to figure this
Oh,
out.
jeez.
I know I've been here for 90 episodes.
You know what? There are 7 more wake
Hey,
ups.
Dallas and Jennifer
7 more wake ups, and then it's Thanksgiving break.
and Victor.
Victor.
Thank goodness.
So let's hit our sponsors real quick.
We
Katie,
can
you got
do
it?
that.
You don't have it pulled up.
I don't. I was looking up the podcast stuff. If you are looking for a high quality PVC rack, look no further than Lone Star Reptile Racks. They offer a variety of sizes for all types of snakes, geckos, rats, and more. You can even order something custom. Shipping is available, or you can plan to pick up at a Herbst Reptile show near you. Visit lsreptileracks.com to reach out to Lone Star Reptile Racks today and place your order.
.com. So I was like there. I got it in there.
Hmm.
Also, if you were in the mood to go to a herb show, you only have what, two left. Two left. That's right, 2 left. We just had one in Lafayette, but if you're looking for a high quality reptile expo, just run off yours. If you were at the Lafayette show was pretty good.
It was busy.
Yeah.
It was busy. It was much busier than we had been, but we hadn't been to Louisiana in a while.
Yes.
It was also towards like the beginning of the month, so people probably just got paid recently.
Yeah.
That also always helps. But that was a good show. You did decent.
I did all right.
We got to go eat at Prejean's.
We got to eat at Prejean's, and I never did tell you guys this, but my gumbo was not very good.
Was it not?
It was
so sad.
barely warm,
Oh,
and just it wasn't very good.
That is very sad.
It probably didn't help that I had already had 3 bowls of gumbo throughout the day.
That is
Sure.
a very strong
you know
possibility.
what was
So-
good was the chicken cracklings.
Oh, those were ridiculously good.
I could eat chicken
Yeah.
cracklings.
You know what I didn't get this morning at Best Stop?
Boudin ball?
I didn't buy any cracklings.
Any cracklings? You get a boudin ball?
I did not.
Oh, I didn't stop. We didn't stop and get any on the way home.
We're gonna get some next week.
What's the name of the place you stop at?
I like Billy's.
I like Billy's.
But they didn't open until 10:30, and this was at like 8:30 this morning. So
Billy's
Gotcha.
makes crawfish meat pies. Oh,
yeah, so
glorious.
we ended up going to Best Stop.
Best Stop is good.
I'm so hungry.
If you're in the Lafayette area in Louisiana, it's always Best Stop or Billy's. That's the battle between the two.
Yep. And then there's a place in Iowa right next to the Pilot that has really good reviews online. I forgot what it's called.
Speaking of Iowa, anybody out there, Iowa, Louisiana is spelled Iowa.
Yeah.
But if you're ever driving through Louisiana, pronounce it Iowa
Yep.
because that's how it's fucking pronounced.
Well, like in New Orleans, you have a street that's spelled Calliope, but it's Calliope.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You say Calliope, they look at you like you're stupid.
I'd say it's literally a different language in Louisiana, but it's literally like 4 different languages in Louisiana.
Like mashed together.
It's you got some Native American in there when you get up to like Natchitoches.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Natchitoches.
that's when you fuck up Native American languages.
Natchitoches.
Then you got Creole and French.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 2 different there. And then you got English, which is it's just a bastardized of every other language.
Yeah, patois, which is like a mashup of Creole and French and
Yeah.
English.
Yeah, it's
They like switch. I used to have a guy that worked for me, that worked for the company that I worked for that was like from the swamp. He was mulatto
yeah.
Oh
and was
yes.
from the swamp and would switch into that patois like that.
I love
His,
it.
Oh, yeah.
his family was originally from one of the islands, the Caribbean islands, and had come over as slaves and lived in the swamp. And he was from, if I say it, she'll be like, yep, that's the swamp. Because we used to go to a bar with him called the Gator Den down there.
Nice.
And it was a rough place. Like I would not go there without him
That's hilarious.
because I couldn't order
you're
anything
an
because
outsider.
nobody spoke my language.
No.
Yeah, you get below. So I always tell folks when they talk about Louisiana, because people always, outside of Louisiana, people only know New Orleans, and they assume that that's Louisiana, but it's not. That's New Orleans. It's its own world, its own place. But you get down to like where we were in Lafayette this weekend. One, the food in that part of Louisiana is fucking amazing. That's when you get down to actual Cajuns. So you get below I-10. You get above I-10, you're north. You're
He's
north
from Manchac.
Manchac, yeah.
Yeah. That's like right on the coast / swamp.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I do miss the food over there. But anyways, herp shows. We just had Lafayette. It was great. Coming up in 2 weekends is the Austin, Texas show at the new venue.
Yeah.
Or not 2 weekends, 3 weekends. 3 weekends.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
It's December 4th and 5th. Excited. I saw some pictures. Excited to see that venue. It's a pretty big venue, and we don't have to step over a roller hockey rink. So that's awesome. Then back to Louisiana for Slidell, which apparently we have to go to.
Yes, you do.
I don't know where.
What?
Slidell.
I know where I got to work on it.
It's a long drive, but we
Well,
got.
it's not even a long drive. Our child has an obligation now on Saturday.
We have a friend that's going to be there.
We do. And we haven't seen her in a really
April's
long
gonna be
time.
April's going to be there. For anybody that's listened to the podcast for over a year now,
Yeah.
you'll remember April. I love April. I miss April.
Yeah, because I'm
I do
taking
miss
her
her a
some
lot.
acrylic displays.
Yes. So she'll be at Slidell. So you'll get to, if we're there, you get to see the three of us and April.
I literally have some racks that I'm supposed to take to the grand opening this weekend, and I don't know if I'll have PVC until 10 a.m. tomorrow.
That makes
Same thing last weekend. I didn't get PVC until Wednesday afternoon for the
makes my
show.
stomach hurt a little bit for
Yeah,
you.
there's 2 Jarod Doles just joined.
We'll bring in our
Oh,
guest shortly.
Yeah, our
He's-
guest is I
is-
just gave it away.
He's having some technical
Okay.
difficulty down there.
Yeah.
But we'll bring him in just a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, PVC is a pain in the dick right now.
I have 1,220 sheets
Sitting in
ready
a
for
container.
pickup, but they weigh 60,000 pounds. So, and we just found out at like 5 o'clock that they were released. So, hopefully,
But-
we might get them tomorrow.
But when that shit gets here, if
Oh,
you want a
it's-
rack, call Robert. He'll be able to
Oh.
get you one in no time.
It's going to be. I'm going to spend about 2 weeks getting caught up.
Balls to the wall
I'm
right
going to spend
here.
about 2 weeks getting caught up on the orders that haven't canceled.
Hey,
I-
you know what? Somebody is on Thanksgiving break in 2 weeks
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's true. I can come help you out.
Yeah, I'm going to need.
I'll be here.
because we're not going anywhere until like, Thanksgiving.
Have done $5,000 in refunds in the last month.
Oh,
And what these people don't fucking realize
Is that everyone has this
nobody
issue?
else has it either.
yeah.
Well, the thing is, the problem is they can go on Animal Plastics and they can order online.
Absolutely.
And they go on and they order. They go, I ordered one.
Yeah.
You're still fucking waiting, people.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna still be forever.
And I tell them, look, give me 2 to 3 weeks and I will have it. No, I can't wait.
That's
All
the
right.
thing. Okay. Stop fucking breeding snakes and then going, oh shit, babies hatch in a day.
Oh
Can I
my
get a
God.
rack?
I can't tell you how many people are like, hey, I got eggs coming out of the incubator in about a week.
Stop that shit.
All right, well, I guess you better go buy some tubs with
Yeah.
lid locking tubs because
You knew when you put them together they were gonna fuck and possibly have eggs. You knew when the eggs were in the incubator that you had a couple months before they were gonna hatch.
you got 60 days right there
Oh, people do that. That happens all the time.
all the time, once a week.
Or like, I got eggs about to be laid. Can I get an incubator? People always
Yeah.
always like need incubators right
Yep.
before they hatch. All right, before they get eggs.
Yep.
Anyways, Slidell is December 11th and 12th. I'm looking forward to that pizza place that Italian place in Slidell.
Oh, Joe's.
Joe.
That was good.
That's what's so funny is we have a Joe's Italian in Slidell, we have a Joe's Italian in Conroe, and we have a Joe's Italian in Bryan,
Two totally different
and they're
Joe's Italian.
completely unrelated restaurants.
Oh, that's funny.
That one in Slidell's good.
It's damn good.
I-
That's all
I
100%.
really enjoyed that night.
Thank you, Sean Gray.
yes.
Yeah.
When I first started going to shows, our very first show was Longview.
Yeah.
And we got there and we got set up, and I said, hey, man, give me somewhere good to eat. And he's like, go to the Tuscan Pig. It's downtown Longview.
Oh, that is a good
It's
place.
So good.
Love
And we went
it.
there, and that was before we knew anybody. And like Flavius and Kevin and a bunch of those guys were there, and they, said hello, but they didn't really know
Yeah.
us. And we ended up eating there, and it was fucking amazing.
That is one thing doing the shows is
Yes, that was totally you, Heidi Jack Dunlap.
that's definitely Heidi,
But
not Jack.
Heidi's so cute. You gotta make her one.
Yeah, so Heidi,
I
I'll
just
know
love
by
her.
10 a.m. tomorrow. You'll hear from me by 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Fingers crossed.
But the good thing is my huge load of PVC is ready.
Got a huge
So
load.
I do. So it should be.
Waiting
I
to,
doubt I will get it tomorrow.
you're waiting to release your huge load.
Yes.
Stop,
okay, yes.
James.
I'm just
God.
saying.
Oh,
what
it's
he
going to
said.
be a release when that shit finally gets.
just a huge
trust
load
me.
all over the
It's
shop.
32 pallets.
Ooh.
That's a
32
shit ton of plastic.
4x8 pallets.
Guess who's getting a tortoise table?
Yes, it's ridiculously a lot. I mean, it's a shitload.
Oh, metric shit ton is what it is. Other Herb Show news. There's a new show in 2022.
Yep.
And
wait.
the three of us are super excited because it's like 20 minutes from our houses.
It's 12 minutes from my front door, probably 14 from yours.
That's what it's
Fuck yeah.
And I've known about it for 2 weeks and couldn't say anything, which you guys did too.
Yeah.
And
super fucking excited. It's going to be in Pearland, Texas, which is basically where we live.
Yeah. We live in the Pearland Metroplex.
Yeah, there's like 4
that
cities.
Sounds so fancy.
There's like 4 towns, and you can throw a baseball to all of them from our house.
Yeah.
Like, you're almost in all of them at the same time. But it will be, it's a volleyball course, like several volleyball courts.
Yeah, it's like 22,000 square feet. So it's like the size of Conroe, the new Austin venue. So have you seen the layout that she put up?
No, I didn't.
It's a shitload of tables.
Is it?
It's probably.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
It's I'm looking forward to it because I get to sleep in my bed and I don't have to pay a hotel price.
Yes.
So that's great.
And apparently, like 9 other people are crashing at our house.
Yeah, apparently Andy Hine wants to cuddle with
Everybody
me.
wants to come sleep in the bed with James.
Yeah, I'll have a house full of people too.
Put all you assholes upstairs.
They'll either stay here or there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
I told Alana she could have Joe's bed.
Yeah. Well,
it's like her bed's more comfortable.
We have an extra bedroom that nobody sleeps in. So
yeah.
And it has a queen bed. And then we
Yeah.
had snake room. Somebody wants to put an air mattress down. And
Oh, yeah.
we have the huge Chase lounge on the couch. And
I imagine we're going to have, it's going to be insane.
We're only good enough to stay with if we have an Airbnb for Lana. Here, you know, she's just like, hey, I'm gonna come stay with you guys. I'm gonna go see Katie for a few minutes and then not come back.
We passed out that night. That is so not her fault.
Lucas, we don't want a show where people are gonna steal everything.
And Bakelift.
He said, let's get a Bakelift show.
So yeah, those are the shows. We need to get a place in Austin if we're going to the Austin show.
Okay.
Yes.
I will. It's okay.
The Grants are more than welcome to start. Are y'all coming to Austin?
Yeah.
We may come to Austin.
We have an Airbnb and there's room.
Okay, then we may room with you.
Just
then.
you two or the kid too?
Maybe the kid too.
If she comes, we can shove her in a corner.
She can sleep on a mattress, like on the floor. We have an air mattress.
We should be good.
I don't care. I'll shove her under the bed.
Because it's us, Lily and Alana.
Fuck Lily and Alana.
Jennifer.
Yay!
Pink
Oh, cool.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, I think we could probably. Is there room for a whole crew? That's a shitload of people.
Your crew, the Heidi. That's like
the mafia crew.
We can fit.
That's as Chris always says.
Our house is. We got plenty of floor space.
As Chris always says on his podcast, the Texas Mafia.
Yeah.
If you go to any herb show where they're at, they take up like a whole row.
Yeah, I love it.
Speaking of part of that mafia, I showed you the new displays that were at the show this weekend that
Freddie
made for
awesome. Dude, everything Freddie does.
My brain's not working tonight.
See, I put Freddie and the Howdies like in the same level.
Yeah.
The shit they make is just blows. As a guy who makes things, it just blows my mind the stuff they come up with.
Why is my brain going blank on who had it? Lychees. Yeah, see, exactly.
Carl.
So sorry, Carl.
Was it Carl?
It was Carl.
Okay.
So on Carl's table,
Carl.
it was almost like a small guitar case. It folded up flat, but when you laid it out, it was a deli cup display.
So our poor guest is.
I know. I can see him in the corner, and he's fine.
He wants to participate in the conversation. Bring him in. Bring in my friend.
Bringing him in.
I actually found his Christmas present the other day.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I bet it's got a pineapple on it.
It's a possibility.
Probably not. Nobody thinks I have anything to do with pineapples.
Of course not.
So this is
Tracy and Chris. I don't know where they were shopping, but they found a black pair of shorts because I wear crazy pineapple shorts and shit to shows, and they found a pair that they bought for me, and I've worn them. They're comfy. They're a lot longer than some of my other ones. Some of my Daisy Dukes. No, I was kidding. I ain't got Daisy Dukes, but that'd be funny.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So everybody that doesn't do all the herb shows with us, this is Jarod Dole of Pineapple Exotics.
Hello, t-shirt. Pineapple.
There you go.
So the pineapple part is because his last name's Dole, but I totally always just think of Pineapple Express because anybody that knows Jarod.
That's what everybody says. It's either Pineapple Express or Swingers.
Right.
I'm not assuming you're getting laid.
I've had people ask me, how did he come up with pineapple? Are they like? I'm like, his fucking last name's Dole. And they're like,
So
okay.
I'll wait. I don't want to jump the gun because
Right.
we have our question and
Okay,
I don't want
so-
to. I'll jump the
So I
gun.
want to finish a few things with Herps real quick. So we got
Okay, go.
the show coming up next year in Pearland. Super excited about that.
Yeah,
there's
not
two
too far
shows.
from me either.
Yeah, it's only like
Oh,
an
that's
hour,
right.
hour and a half, or hour from you.
About an hour for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like when we get
How
to
long
drive
did it take you to
Conrad.
get to our house, Jared? About an hour?
Like an hour and 20-something minutes.
Yeah, and it's 20 minutes closer to you, so
Oh, nice.
that's about an hour. Yeah.
Well, I know I'm only getting one hotel night then. And that's just because I'm not freaking going out to a Herps tailgate and then,
Trying
driving
to drive, right?
3 a.m.,
It might be better for you to just like crash on one of our couches.
Yeah.
See, that's the only problem. Is like we can't have everybody over at either one of our houses because we live in neighborhoods where you can't fucking have people over because there's not enough room.
Why not?
Shit, I've done it before.
Well, the problem is there's not enough room to park, and then once you get like
hell?
these
Do
houses
you know
are
how many people park on the road in this neighborhood?
exactly there's not enough room
Not
now.
a damn person's gonna bitch at me. for
Okay, your mic's off.
Well,
So
listen, a second ago, it sounds like y'all got a whole squad rolling to the house.
no, I'm just. The problem is like it's not that once you have like 6 people in one of these houses,
It gets loud.
it's fucking loud.
Yeah.
Oh, it does.
It gets
But I'm loud all the time.
Especially if they're Katie and
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
who else is loud?
So all of
Lori shows up.
Lori.
all of the guys
There
are
you
gonna go to your house,
There you go.
and all the women are gonna come to my house, and it's gonna be fabulous.
So we'll get some strippers at my house. Wait, what?
Sweet.
Did I say that? Sorry.
I'll
give
stock
them
the
show
extra
us some
fridge.
Pineapple Daisy Dukes. We'll slap a logo on it.
I love
No,
it.
no, thank you. I'll pass.
We'll stock the extra fridge with all the wine.
But so speaking of Herb shows, the first one of the year is going to be Oklahoma City. I'm not going to that. Fucking enjoy that one. The Grants. I'm not coming up there.
Yeah.
And then Longview, Texas. I've been to Longview in forever.
It seems like that.
No.
So it's been a while since we've been in
Well,
Longview, hasn't it?
it was a COVID test. It was a COVID vaccination site for
Correct.
a while.
Oh,
So the last year and a half or so, it
And-
hasn't had
And the show before that was in Longview. You were out of town that weekend, and we got a
fucking gecko.
crested gecko.
What's kind of funny is Robert was talking about Longview being y'all's first Herp show. I want to say when I saw y'all at that Longview is probably my third, no more than my fourth Longview. Longview was my first location with Herps ever.
It was my second.
It's actually one of my I really like that show. I always do really good when I go there, It
Yeah.
seems like geckos and lizards just fly at that show. You take bearded dragons or leopard geckos up there and they're gone.
I really like the grilled cheese food truck.
Oh, that grilled cheese food
Oh,
truck there.
It's one of the best concession stands I've ever seen.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sometimes when I go up north and do the St. Louis show, sometimes Mickey has a pulled pork person there, and sometimes she serves beer too. I mean, that's kind of cool, but the grilled cheese truck's definitely better.
That
Yeah.
grilled cheese sandwich with the fried egg and the peanut butter on it.
I get the macaroni and cheese one.
The macaroni and cheese one's good.
Yeah.
There's the isn't it? There's a macaroni
I
and cheese
had
and, like
one
pulled
with
pork one.
avocado on it.
Well, what's crazy is every time they show up, they sell out, and then
Yeah.
it's kind of like Kayla and James with that damn bread. They bring that stuff and it's
Yes.
gone like crazy. And then I come over halfway through Saturday, and I'm like, "Hey, you got any blueberries left?" And she's like, "I don't have shit left." I'm like, "Geez."
Well, Heidi said the only reason Jack wants to go is because of that food truck.
I mean,
There's no way Jack eats that much carbs. I've seen Jack.
Well,
He's not eating that much carbs.
He's
will every now and
built
then.
like a Yeti, you know what I mean? He's gotta eat some carbs. man.
Jack's
That's
one of
what
those
he
guys you
is.
see him walking around. He can't like put his hands down on his side.
Yeah,
That's Jack.
eats a lot. Yeah,
Or is
he'll eat carbs every now and then.
just don't get in a bear hugging contest with him. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
and then just going back to this real quick. So Longview is January 22nd, 23rd, and then end of January is our big Conroe show, the January Conroe show. So that is the next few shows. But speaking of Herps, we all, I assume you as well, Jared, this weekend will be in the same place, correct?
This coming weekend, right now?
Yes,
Mhm.
this
Saturday.
Saturday.
For the grand opening.
Oh, the grand. I was trying to think. I was like, I don't think there was a show going on. I think.
No.
that was-
There is a
Jared's already freaking out. Like, hold on. What did I
Yeah,
I
I'm like,
forgot something.
shit, 'cause I know that I sign up for Herp shows. I sign up for all of them. I do at least 2 tables, and I do it for a year. And then I let Lori know if there's anything I need to miss. So I was thinking to myself, I was like, well, god dang, now I got commitments that I wasn't prepared for. You had me scared.
No, this
No,
weekend
I
is
remember
the
grand
grand.
opening. I'm gonna try to make it. I do during the week. I do roof contracting now, and Saturday I've got 2 appointments in the morning, and depending on how long they run, is if I'll make it.
Jared's got a real job now, so now he can't hang out with us.
Says the
fucking
same
ridiculous,
person who's
man.
having to possibly cancel Slidell for the real job.
Oh,
Yeah, but I've had a real job for a while.
Okay.
That's true. That's true. I just took mine this year.
That's okay.
Jared's
You're
growing
a
up. He's
lot younger
Jared's
than we
a big
are.
boy.
It's acceptable.
Jared got a truck this year.
Well, here's what happened, y'all. I was doing the shows only. I was doing really well. I was paying for all my food, all the animals' food, and all my bills and everything, and things were okay. But when life would do something like throw the third cylinder out of my Honda and strand me 8 hours away for 5 days,
And your ass doesn't fucking call anybody.
We are still a little bitter about that.
I know. No. You guys are talking about the first time that the car stranded me. There was a second time, and that's
I
how
know.
we went to the jump.
I know.
The first time you break down and you don't contact any of us, and any of us would have been like, hey, we can find
I
somebody to help
contacted
Jared.
Sean, but you know how hard it is to get Sean to answer messages sometimes.
That's true.
It's my fault for not calling anybody and pursuing it harder. But I kind of just went. I'm used to doing everything on my own anyway, so I was just kind of like, well, my situation's shitty.
Well, and another thing is like this. It took me a while to get used to it. I don't like to ask for help ever with anything.
I'm super worse about that because my problem is, in my experiences, is people want something out of helping you.
Right.
And
with the Herbst family, this is what we do. And it took me a while to be comfortable with that.
Sean
really
and Lori
did.
got very aggressive with me the first time they tried to offer me assistance because I wouldn't take it. Lori might not be my mom, but she's about to beat my ass like she had a chomp. So I guess I kind of allowed it to happen. So that's been quite a bit different. Sean and Lori have helped me quite a few times. Matter of fact, right now they, I moved to this apartment and I had an adult pair of female leopard tortoises and
I've seen them.
a couple males. Yeah, they're with Sean and Lori right now because I simply just can't have them here. They have a lot of sentimental value. I actually remember when a friend of mine about 5 or 6 years ago got them as babies, and I was super jealous. I always teased him that he had to give them to me. And when he calls me one day and says, "Man, I'm getting too old. I can't be bringing this many tortoises indoors for the winter," and he wasn't willing to get rid of his breeder pair of sulcatas, so we kind of made a trade arrangement and stuff. And I knew that was something really special that's hard to get your hands on. So the first person I contacted was Sean, and at that time he had already had the Aldabras and Kona.
Yeah, he has Aldabras. Fuck Sean.
Yeah. I was there when he picked them up, and I was like, oh, man.
That Longview. That was when he got the little guy, so that was at Longview.
Yeah.
I've given him so much shit. I even took a picture when I was at his house one time when me and Tozer stopped by on our way up to the Pueblo show, and I took pictures of me right next to him and sent it to him. Or I posted on Facebook to tease him. Man, I could have got away with it if I was just not a piece of shit, So it is what it is. But
yeah, it's and like I said, we've talked about it a ton on this show. It's a different world vending a herp show versus vending, and you've vended several non-herp shows. It's
Herps
completely
was actually
different.
the last brand that I came to actually. I take that back because I tried Rick Tozer's McQueenie show. So I did that one, but before that, since I was in Arkansas for a long time, and there was nothing allowed in that state until actually this last weekend was their first show in 18 years. I did a lot of show me shows. You guys are gonna hate me for it, but I started in Repticon.
I feel like there's a lot of us that did that.
Don't worry, I did too.
Yeah. I started out as a customer there, and then I started vending. And then I quickly discovered my very next one was actually not Show Me Reptiles. It was Dustin Bickerstaff's and his parents' show, the CF Expos. I went to Jackson, Tennessee, and it was a great turnout for me because they have like 30 or 40% reptile vendors. Their biggest vendor group there is birds, and then they have exotic animals like mammals too. Yep. And my first show, there was a lady there at the table next to me. I call her the Dolly Parton of monkeys because she just has that Dolly Parton vibe, but it's not a bunch of horses.
Does she have big tits?
She does.
Jeez.
And she's blonde.
Well, I mean, Dolly. I think Dolly Parton. The first thing I think is huge tits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I suppose so.
Well, she just, she was just kind of a glamour gal, if that makes sense. And
Yeah.
dude, she was selling. She had 2 fucking baby capuchin monkeys on the table for $14,000 a piece, and I walked, and she was right next to me. So everybody, the runoff of the customers when they're done looking at the monkeys were coming to me. I watched some dude walk up in some kind of business suit and look at that $14,000 monkey and say, and hand her some money and said, "Hold that, I'll be back with a cashier's check on a fucking Saturday." And he just buys the whole goddamn monkey, no payment plan, no nothing.
Oh my God.
It's insane.
Worst fucking pet on earth.
I've had customers walk up to me that I look at and I'm like, they're not going to buy anything, and spend $5,000.
Oh yeah, buy the most
Break out
expensive
cash
thing in
and
the
I'm
whole
like,
building.
shit. All right, taught me not to judge a book by its cover.
I played with a few capuchins from a few different places, and one part of my life I was running a reptile program for a petting zoo, and they had a monkey there named Quigley, and he was pretty cool. For whatever reason, he really fucking liked me, but their teeth hurt, man. Even when they're playing, that shit is. Woo.
Well, and you have to baby-proof the house from floor to ceiling.
Yep.
And they're monkeys, so they shit like monkeys, which is just gross. I don't care if you can go put a diaper on them, but they're gonna shit as soon as you take the diaper off. And
if they don't take it off themselves.
And, and then monkeys have the amazing ability to automatically turn their shit into liquid. They can just go from solid to liquid in 2 seconds.
Like,
I
they
used
can
to follow
control their
this.
body like that. Like they can make themselves have diarrhea.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The moment you go to try to catch a monkey, it's liquid shit. I've had to catch many monkeys, and it turns to liquid shit, and then they're jumping around with liquid shit, and that shit flings everywhere. It's gross.
I used to follow a capuchin monkey on TikTok.
Oh geez.
His name was George.
You follow
People
the
would
monkey.
send him Amazon packages, and he would open them, and it was just very.
You know, I've seen that.
And then one day the owner was on there and he was crying and he was like, "George got sick yesterday. And by the time I got him to the vet, he was dead."
Fuck.
We don't know what happened. He was only 2 years old.
Well, they can pick up human illnesses,
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
and
And I
you can
never did
transfer it, and their
follow
immune
up to-
systems aren't ready for it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen
Bringing them
the
to shows is extremely sketchy. You know, you talk about letting a bunch of people hold a snake and worrying about getting a mite or something. You know, with the monkey, that's completely
Let's not
different.
talk about mites.
Yeah, mites have been bad this year for a lot of people. But so you did the Repticons, you did the shows in Tennessee, and then you came.
And then I did Show Me Show for a while, and then Texas was just always a really long drive. I came down for a herp show, and this is when I was the suit and tie guy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And, don't get me started on that shit. I just wanted to produce the effect that I gave a shit about my business I was trying to open, and I guess I cared too much. I needed to relax a little bit.
Yeah, you look like a used car salesman.
Yeah, I know, but
And now your clothes don't match. We've come so far.
oh, yeah, it's crazy. It's the worst thing in the world. But yeah, I came down to the herp shows and I had done the show. I did well, and then the strangest thing is when I got hit, because I was so used to that shows, you know, I'd go back to the hotel by myself if I didn't specifically know somebody. Like I knew Eric and Elise from E Squared for a while. I'd always hang out with them if I could. I knew Tristan Kaler with Gecko Junkie. I don't know if you guys know him because he's not in the Texas circuit really, but
I know who he is.
yeah. I used to hang out with him a lot. He did a lot of my mentoring as far as business models and what I should and shouldn't do towards the beginning. And then I came down, and Sean and Lori, there's the dinner, and that was pretty cool because I had already met with some people for dinner, but then I figured out that like theirs is like a tradition, like for every possible show. But what really got me was I got invited to tailgate with them, and I remember talking, and I don't remember how it came up, but somebody else was smoking. I think you know what I mean, and
I don't know what you mean.
yeah, I was, and I was looking at Lori, and I was like, I looked at her like alarmed, like, you know, are we gonna get in trouble out in this parking lot? And you know what Lori did? Participated, and I was like, no fucking way. And then that's when I was like, hey, you know, I might dabble a little bit too. And you should have seen the look on Lori's face because I was still I looked like a fucking church Mormon out in this parking lot with my shirt tucked in, and she just looks at me like, what? And then, you know, it's just, I guess.
I have to pause you for 1 second. If you hear any candy wrappers in the background, people that are listening to this podcast,
Don't you dare judge us.
Because we are fucking this candy.
oh,
We really are.
So in
How
case
was
anybody's-
that long ago? You guys got to pass.
No. We bought these
We bought this
specifically just to eat them.
so it's if you've ever had, they get put at the bottom of like the candy barrel, and no one seems to like them because they're not eating them correctly. But it's the fruit flavored Tootsie Rolls.
Okay, yeah.
So if you get the orange one
which are the best.
and the vanilla one
I don't care.
and twirl them together, it becomes a creamsicle.
I'll have to try that because I don't really like the vanilla one, which
Oh,
is
no.
crazy because all blue candy is my favorite except for that one.
Yeah.
Like I remember
It's
the
'cause
first
they're
time I
not
tried it,
blue.
I was
If you
what
like
is this shit?
if you like a creamsicle or like the old push pop, the Flintstones ice cream push pops,
Yeah,
you,
it's like that.
you screw them together and mush them up, and then you eat them, and they're amazing.
I just like the orange ones.
Yeah.
The
go
what's
for it.
the magenta colored one? Like it's a weird red. I like that one.
Those are yes.
Those ones are good.
Yeah, I may or may not have bought 2 pounds of orange Tootsie Rolls off of Amazon.
Well, it started because we found the bag of vanilla ones at Target, and then I was like, "Oh, I couldn't find any orange ones," and so then we just ordered a whole.
I ordered them off Amazon.
And we're probably gonna order more from this candy.
But it
place.
took forever to get here. Like it took them almost a week to get here. Normally, everything with Amazon is here like
I
same day,
have
next
zero
day.
sympathy
Shut up.
for anybody.
I like the. I'm a
shipping
Jolly
delays right
Rancher
now.
fan. I can sit there in one sitting and smash a whole bag of Jolly Ranchers. Just about any flavor.
How do you know that?
See, and I will eat cherry Jolly Ranchers, and that is the only flavor Jolly Rancher I will eat.
Really? Dude, I'll eat Jolly Ranchers till the roof of my mouth is raw, and I couldn't spit a clear loogie if I fucking tried. You know what I mean? Like my whole mouth will be black because all the mixed colors. So
I can't do Jolly Ranchers. One, I feel like I'm eating a choking hazard,
Mm-hmm.
There's a very strong possibility.
especially when
then,
they get to the flavor.
and then when you get to the end, you're like, "All right, well, I can't just swallow this. I have to bite it," and then it gets in your teeth.
Mhm.
Yep.
I like the chewy ones, though.
So Heidi said you can mix amaretto and orange juice, and it tastes like an orange cream pop too.
Huh.
Try that when I get home.
Well, those
I
are
have a recipe for an amaretto cake. That's really good.
Amaretto, anything that's really good.
I'll bash.
Yeah, I figured out when I was in Pueblo. I have a friend up there. Her name's Katie, and she came out to see the show and hang out with us afterwards. She introduced me to the amaretto, or however you pronounce it, whatever the sours or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love those things, man. They go down easy, and you get a couple of them. It's a decent.
Yeah,
kick,
it's a
but
girl drink.
Everybody
It's
makes
supposed-
fun of me for drinking grandma drinks now.
Yeah, it's a girl drink. It's supposed to go down
Okay.
easy, just like the girls.
Hey,
Oh, shush.
Damn, dude. You're going to get us canceled. God.
Shush. Throw trash wrappers at you.
they're gonna pull a Dave Chappelle on your ass.
Right. And
He's doing much better.
I will respond just like Dave Chappelle and be like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Oh, I did I forgot. We talked about the Herp show opening, or the Herp shop opening this weekend. It's grand opening this weekend. Speaking of that, and our sign behind me reminded me, you've seen the new counter made by the Howdies over at Focus Cube.
It was ridiculous.
That new
Awesome.
counter for the Herp shop. It's
You gonna put the Ackies in it or something like that?
Yeah.
yeah, it's a
Oh,
display.
that'll
It's
look
a
good.
cage / counter. It lights up. It's a lot like our sign. It lights up and does also. It's
It's even the countertop has a thermostat built in, doesn't it?
yeah for the cages. Yeah.
That's wicked. That's wicked.
It looked. I knew what they were making. I just didn't know what it was going to look like. But I mean, I've got a cage from them. We have this sign in our studio from them. Everything that the Howdies make, it's amazing.
That it seems like it'd be really hard and take a long time to draw the plans out for that, dude. I can't do stick figures very well, so I'm not building no custom cages and shit. So
Well, it's
I
amazing
imagine-
to see the stuff they pump out and to have been to their shop. Like it is small. It's a small shop, and what they're able to do in there, just the two of them
Mhm.
with the limited equipment they really have. I mean, really,
Yeah, I mean, they don't have.
it's not a machine like yours.
It's not an
that big.
industrial router. It's more of a hobbyist CNC.
And he pumps
Wow.
out amazing stuff.
Yeah.
I've seen their cages before. It's cool. I've also seen that big old fat black dragon she'll come in with her shoulders on and at the shows. I'm just like, ooh, that thing is so sweet.
Mm.
Yeah, we got to get
I'm
them over
sitting over
here.
here, all I have is a white throat and a black throat.
We're gonna get them on here in person at some point and have her bring the monitor over. 'Cause
Yeah.
they're up there near you.
Yeah, they're
Are they?
right by you.
Oh yeah, they're not far from you at all.
They're near Conroe. the shop is like a few miles from Lake Conroe.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, I'm actually like really, really close to Lake Conroe. In fact, I've done a lot of roofs there.
Yeah, I always went to the shop when we got the sign. But so yeah, come out to the show. Or the show, I keep saying show because I'm used to saying show when I say herps. The shop this weekend for the grand open. They've been open now for 2 months.
A month.
And it's been going pretty well. What is that? Oh, it's
That's
white
my
throat.
white throat.
That's a white throat.
Yeah, we're about to have our third Christmas. I got him as a baby from Mark Foss. You guys have seen him at shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never named this dude, but he's one of my absolute killer favorites in the collection. He was such a douche when I first got him, and now, I mean, you can see how I'm holding him now.
Yeah.
You know, I got a black throat in here too. It's a baby, and I can't do that shit with it. That dude wants to square up on me every time.
Don't let Jared lie to you. Jared has that monitor down at 70 degrees all the time. That's why it's super calm.
Oh, whatever. Nah, he's cool as shit.
So I asked a question this week on our Facebook because Jared couldn't give me a question, so I came up with one. And
So this is actually what I want to talk about. So go ask the question and let me talk.
So what was weird was it's not a reptile related question really at all. It's not what I found to be one of the most entertaining questions I've asked. But holy shit, did people want to answer this one?
Okay.
Because it's cool. We like to talk about this kind of stuff.
So the question was, many reptile people are collectors by nature. If you were not collecting reptiles, what would you collect and why? And before I go into that, I want to touch on the whole word collecting because I knew that would trigger people. And none of our listeners said shit, but you know, people get upset when you say collecting reptiles. It's a living thing. I get that, but we collect fucking snakes and lizards. We do.
Sure. We call it a collection.
It's a collection, and it doesn't make us it doesn't make us not love them any less by being a collection. So that's why one reason I use it.
Behind it, the way you say it, you know what I mean. So I think that's what it has to do with. Is it depends on if you're. I mean, if it's obvious that you love all your animals and this is your passion and you're super, super excited about it, and these animals obviously aren't just money to you, I don't think it's as big of a deal. But at the same time, you know, I've heard some people talk about their collection like it's just a model car collection, and you can tell they're just not as into the animals as they should be, you know, which is, to me, this business and this hobby is a lot different than a lot of other things. Some people just see these animals as money stacks or business and products and stuff. And it's like, you know, they have, you know, they breathe air, you know, they pump blood through their veins just like we do. And I personally, I know some people don't, but I personally believe that reptiles feel. I do think that you know, it's obviously not the same as, you know, your dog and stuff, but I mean, you can't play with a reticulated python and tell me that thing isn't intelligent and aware. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You can't play with these monitors and watch them interact and learn how their cage opens and stuff. And you can't convince me that they don't know a little bit about what's going on. You know, if I'm sitting here peeling skin off of my monitor and he's arching his butt up to make it easier for me to peel off the base of his tail and stuff, you just can't convince me that it's not a connection there. And some people think that, you know, like even snakes, they think that, you know, they're just mindless type deal. And I can get it why some people think that, but I think that there's just as much connection with these snakes and these reptiles as dogs, cats, cows, and everything. It's just a different kind. You have to understand.
I love that you said cows. Dogs, cats, cows.
Yeah. It's a wide range right there, you know. So, but, you know.
All right, so
I'm going to talk about one of our things that we collect, and it goes back to the pineapple thing.
Okay.
So when we were in college, we would watch a show on USA called Psych. It was about a psychic detective. I'm sure other people have also watched it. There is a hidden pineapple in every show. It started out as a joke, and then it became a thing. And so they would either talk about pineapples in some way, or there would be a pineapple in the background, or a painting, or
like
just
a
something
tchotchke on a shelf.
And so that just became our thing. And so we started collecting random pineapple things. And at our house, when we bought it, we there was a pineapple in every room of our house.
Yeah, there was something pineapple in every room.
But it wasn't obvious.
Yeah, there was
I know what your previous tenants were doing there.
Well, and it's funny
we put
because
pineapples there.
I didn't know, like, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
I didn't know either until I started vending, and then I had couples approach me and be like,
yes, people were asking me, and I was like,
so for everybody listening, apparently an upside down pineapple means that you like to swing.
It's a sign of a
not
swing
on a swing set.
If you put it out on your front porch, that's for anybody who is a swinger to drive by and come knock your door and be like,
yeah,
hey, I like your pineapple type bullshit. And I didn't know this, but like the first couple that ever approached me for this were in like their 50s, man. That was a weird, that was a weird way to get.
And it was really weird when Jarod was fucking the husband. It was so weird.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah. So our front door mat says welcome, and it has 3 pineapples on it. But like we have like lamps they're actually still at the house in Louisiana. My mom stole them from me, but they look really good in the living room. But they're actually, there's 2 white pineapples, but when you look at them, it doesn't look like a pineapple. So it's like that kind of stuff. Like there was a wall electrical outlet plate.
Oh, that's right.
That has pineapples printed on it.
Okay.
But like that was in one of the rooms.
I think we put a magnet
got
in the
more
kitchen.
pineapple stuff than I do.
Yeah, we have one of the rooms. The fan pull was a pineapple.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like it's just like super random shit that you would never like. It's just, anyways. But yeah, so I like to collect for non-swinger purposes pineapples.
There you go. Yeah, you're gonna have to clarify that.
Yes.
In this community for sure, you're gonna have to clarify.
I never knew. It was so crazy.
So
yeah, Alana with No Drama Llama said they have more llama shit than they can handle.
Well, I imagine because everybody, counting Katie, just buys random llama shit for them.
Guilty.
Yeah.
So,
I bought popcorn. I bought a box of popcorn that had a llama on it. And when you pop the popcorn, it's actually blue popcorn and it's cotton candy flavored.
That's fucking weird.
Was it good?
I don't know. I have a bag downstairs. I haven't popped it to eat it because I haven't brought myself to do. I don't actually like popcorn.
That sounds. I don't know.
I don't hate myself enough.
I may pop it with my 3rd graders on Friday and
force them to eat that shit.
They'll eat it. They'll eat anything. They eat
Man,
those
I tried
chips.
A bag of grapes from Kroger that were genetically engineered or grown to be cotton candy flavored.
Okay, are those like the moon grapes or whatever?
No, they're cotton candy grapes.
Oh.
They are ridiculously good.
Like,
it's like eating a little cube of sugar.
I didn't like it. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if it was a brand or maybe I got one that had been sitting on the shelf a while. I don't know, but it. Or maybe
hold on. We're gonna figure this out. Do you eat beans and chili?
Yeah.
Okay,
yes.
That's why you didn't taste them because your taste buds are fucked.
No,
I don't eat beans or chili. What does that mean about me?
That is meat sauce. That is not chili.
We had a whole argument on James and I did on Facebook earlier.
Without beans, it's just a meat sauce. That's like going.
People probably think we hate each other.
I know.
That's hilarious.
Without beans, it's like spaghetti sauce with the
exactly. Well, that's what I said.
Nope.
If you go get spaghetti with meat sauce, you're just getting Italian chili. Just Italian chili on there.
I don't eat either one.
So I got one for you. You guys.
Yes, Alana, I knew I liked you.
Do you like corn in your chili?
Fuck
no.
Yeah, I like it, man.
Well, you're from north of I-10, dude. So
that's true. That's true.
You know what chili is.
That's hilarious.
Corn.
Yep.
Corn.
Yep.
I don't even want cornbread with chili.
What? Come on.
I do like cornbread.
I was going to say I would cornbread with anything.
I don't mash it in my chili and make it a part like it's all one soup type thing.
I do that with pot roast.
I like to eat.
I'll dip it. I'll dip cornbread in it, or I'll take a spoonful of the chili and spread it on top of the cornbread, depending on how brittle it is. But I'm not mixing it in.
I'll buy a can of like cornmeal chili with beans, and then I'll cook the whole can, and then just put like crackers in it.
There's a very strong possibility that about 3 weeks ago I made a pan of cornbread just to eat with a glass of milk. And that's what I had for dinner was cornbread.
You got to do to keep your soul happy. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna put that on it. That is gonna be what goes in my kitchen in that big blank spot over my window. You've got to do what you've got to do to make your soul happy.
You know what I had today at lunch?
That is totally going
Pumpkin flan.
Right in the soul kitchen.
What?
Pumpkin flan sounds good.
shit was amazing.
I don't like
Pumpkin
pumpkin anything,
flan?
but
Flan.
I had
Sean Gray got me to eat flan last week at lunch, and I've never really had it before.
oh yeah.
oh,
And it
yeah.
was so
Good.
damn good. So today I was like, they have pumpkin flan.
We had someone make Rolo pie and bring it to school today.
That'd be
It was
good.
good. It was like a chocolatey, but it was really good though.
Hmm.
Darren wants to say cornbread and chili is the bomb. I'll eat cornbread and chili.
I will too.
But chili, the best thing is a Frito chili pie from Sonic. Give me a Frito chili cheese pie from Sonic. I love that shit.
Never had one.
Oh, grew up on
I
those
don't eat
things.
chili.
Their
That's
chili
'cause
doesn't
you're
have
wrong.
beans, so I'll eat it because I get it on their tater tots.
It should have beans.
Some riveting conversation. We're
I was
having.
gonna
Anyways,
say,
food
we
review.
are really
All right,
not
stop.
reptile people.
Moving back. We're going back to what things people collect. Michael Berry said he raises reptiles but collects the scars. That sounds like somebody that probably owns
yeah.
monitors.
That's all of
Scars.
us.
What do you mean he collects scars? Like bodily
Like from
scars?
bites and
From
stuff,
bites
I
and
guess.
scratches.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there we go, Jared. All right.
Some prey handling shit. Okay, I got you.
Ashley Howdy said, and I knew this one, motorcycles and other motorsport apparatuses because they are both beautiful and exciting. That's obvious by the picture she takes and that damn boat that they're going to crash at some point. I
Huh.
hope not. But there's like 5 minute pictures of them just speeding across the lake in that boat.
Huh.
Feels the need
Shut the
need
fuck
for
up.
speed.
Oh, and then Robbie. I didn't know this about Robbie. So Robbie Loveless posted, I would probably go back to saltwater aquarium.
Yeah.
Probably one reef tank and one fish tank. Not one fish tank, but
You can
He
do
has
well
like
on salt water, man. Especially if you break out some frags on some coral and you frag them out. I mean,
Yeah.
you make a lot of money
Yeah,
in that
that
shit.
doesn't seem like fun to me though. Like, don't get me wrong, I would love a saltwater tank.
They're difficult.
I
Super
want to pay
difficult.
somebody
Well,
else
a
to
saltwater
keep it
tank.
up.
A saltwater tank's not difficult once it's set up.
Yeah, you have to freaking put stuff in it and grow it for months before you even put fish in it.
Yes.
You know?
Once you set it up though and have it going, it's very easy. My problem is I don't have the ability to do a cheap version of a saltwater tank. If
No.
I'm going to do a saltwater tank, it's going to have to be like 100 gallons, and I'm going to have to have a sump, and it's going to be. I
Robbie
don't
has
have the money for that.
That's what
I don't know if he sold it or not because I had to help him move it when we changed his water heater out in his garage. Probably 100 gallon on a solid wood stand, and that fucking thing is heavy. I couldn't imagine what it weighs.
So when we went to Louisiana this weekend, we stayed Friday night at my in-laws' house, which is my house, but at my in-laws' house, which was a mistake. It made me realize how much I fucking miss my house in
I
general.
miss that yard so
I had a
much.
toilet that sat. I forgot how short these toilets are here.
Mhm.
My toilet
They
there is
suck.
tall and it's got a big
I
toilet
sat
seat.
down to go pee and was like, my feet don't touch the floor anymore.
I used the bathroom at the shop more than here because we have full size toilets.
I fucking love that toilet.
Yeah.
I got in the shower and I was able to turn around without touching the fucking walls. But I first walked in and my fish tank was there, and I forgot how much I love my fish tank. So I got
2 weekends, baby. Coming home in 2 weekends.
which I'm not looking forward to that move.
What kind,
No,
what kind
that's
of
good.
fish you got in your fish tank?
It's mostly catfish.
Community.
I
Oh,
actually did forget some of the things I had in there. I had some other tropical fish, and I looked in there. I was like, "Oh shit, I do have these fish."
I used to do Oscar fish a long time ago. I'd raise them up to their big. I'd have a black one and then a albino in a 120, 150 gallon tank, something like that when I was a kid.
I had
And my
125.
very first one, I could reach in and pet it. I could put food in my hand and put it in there and eat out of my hand and stuff. So that one was cool, but I never got one that was that nice again. The rest of them, you put your finger in there and it's game on.
I ended up giving my entire tank, stand, setup, refugium, everything to a teacher for her classroom.
Damn.
I put it up for sale, and it was on Craigslist for like 2 weeks. And she messaged me. She's like, "Hey, I'm a teacher. I teach biology, blah blah blah, over here in Fort Bend ISD." And she said, "Could I get your live rock from you? Would you be willing to donate it?" I was like, "I'll tell you what. You bring some people with you, and you can have everything." Because I had like 2 days before we were moving.
Oh yeah.
I was like, "You just have it. Just take it." I had like 5 years in that tank, but my now ex-wife, who I was getting married to that weekend, didn't want it in the house.
That's how you.
That should have been your
That
first
should have been
sign
my-
right there.
Right
That,
there.
that actually should have been about. That should have been about the
the
6th red flag, to be honest with
Oh
you.
my stars.
Fuck that bitch.
But yeah, so I ended up giving the whole thing away to a teacher, and she would send me for about 2 years. She would send me periodically
awesome.
like updates on it and stuff. That's the one where I bought a big piece of brain coral that was just live rock, but it was brain coral.
Yeah.
I got it home, put it in the tank, and the tank was still like cycling. I had like a month before I was going to put any fish in it. And one day I saw movement. I'm like, the fuck's moving over there? And I went and looked and put a light on it. And I'm like, there's something in there. So I got a piece of shrimp and put it down in there, and a freaking snowflake eel like this big came out of it.
That's fucking
Oh
awesome.
my
Apparently it had been in that, and it was like in a tote. A live rock was just barely in water in a tote. And I was like, I guess it was in there when it got shipped, and they never knew it was there. And I was like, cool, I got a free snowflake eel.
That's awesome.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Are those things expensive?
I mean, they're
Not horrible.
40, $50, but
That's pretty hefty for a fish, you know?
Not for saltwater
no.
fish.
Dude, I had a powder brown tang that was like $400.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Are you serious?
Yeah,
You
I
ever
was
seen
single
those-
with no kids back then.
For a
you ever seen those
fish?
French angelfish and seen how much they cost?
Oh yeah,
Woo.
Some of that shit's crazy. One of my favorite fish, if I end up
God,
a saltwater
you do
tank,
community
I want a
fish.
goatfish.
Yeah.
I love goatfish.
yeah.
I've
Never heard of it.
Goatfish, they got little whiskers and they dig around the bottom. They look for stuff. They're really pretty, like reddish yellow color. They'll like tuck up in the rocks and sleep.
I had a really nice urchin and 2 really big chocolate chip starfish.
Oh, I love chocolate chip
Oh, that's a
starfish.
cute little
And
fish.
Go
Somebody
fish,
yeah.
gave me a triggerfish, and I didn't realize that they
Oh,
prey on
shit.
urchins. And
Yeah, they
starfish.
got that big old beak.
I dropped them in there and went to bed and got up the next morning, and it was like fucking a massacre in that thing.
Oh God.
He had destroyed both the starfish
Oh.
and the urchin.
Sad day.
Yeah, yeah. He ended up going.
That's how I did.
somewhere
I
else.
had a big clown knife that someone gave me. It was really impressive, over a
Mhm.
foot. But the first time that motherfucker reached to try to eat my favorite cat, got my favorite catfish in his mouth. I reached in, grabbed him, made him spit it out.
It was Joe and I just sat there and we were like, what? He literally like jumped from across the room.
I saw him.
Stuck
I
his
saw him grab my
hand.
catfish. I was like, "Fuck you, bitch!"
He stuck his hand down in that tank and grabbed that fish and was like forcing it to
That
spit
that
up
night
that
he
other
was up on
catfish.
Facebook, and the next day someone came and got him. I was
Yeah.
like, you can fucking have this thing. He's gone.
I had a big 100-gallon freshwater tank one time, and I bought an arowana, and that it was like this big when I got it, and I grew it up to well over a foot. And one day I came home and he was laying on the floor, dried up.
Oh,
Oh,
We,
So
So
I
I
had left the top open when I fed
yeah.
and didn't close it, and he jumped
when I
right
worked at
out.
the zoo, we had a giant green moray eel.
Mhm.
He'd come out of the tank and you could feed him by tongs. He was really cool. And we had an aquarium place come in and like professionally clean his tank, get rid of all the excess algae, and it looked amazing. 2 days later, he jumped out of the tank. He was fine for years in there. They cleaned it. 2 days later, we come in and there he is, dried up on the tank, on the ground behind the tank. It was horrible. I mean, because he was probably 4 foot, 4.5
He
foot.
was huge.
Massive green. But anyways, back to this. Patrick Rooney said Pokemon cards would be collecting them now, but they're so goddamn expensive. I have my original Pokemon cards. I don't think anybody give a shit, but I have my original Pokemon cards in a binder that I think's in Joe's room.
Oh yeah, she looks through
She'll
it.
go through and
on
looks
a
all the time.
regular.
I got a
Target actually has them again.
yeah, I saw that.
They had quit carrying them for a while because it was becoming too dangerous for their employees.
To have them.
I'm not quite sure why, but you sound like a robot voice. Your entire like your voice just started getting electric almost.
Yeah,
It's electric.
Oh, there you go.
coming
There you
out
go.
of me.
You're clear now. I don't know why.
I
Like
don't know.
the last 2 things you said, you were like,
The good
okay.
thing. Good thing. Thanks to our buddies over at Wiregrass Exotics, who we've not mentioned yet, we have this amazing equipment for recording our sounds. So-
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, I got something cool this weekend.
okay.
Oh,
I was
you
gonna
did
say,
get
I
some-
know
okay.
my Xfinity bill's on auto pay, and I know it. I know my Wi-Fi isn't shit.
We're gonna get to them.
Okay.
I've not forgot about them.
Jared got to see one of them the other night. So
Oh, I bet he did.
What
Anyways,
did I see?
nothing.
we'll
but-
talk about it in a minute.
Okay.
Ryan Goslow said probably fossils. Besides reptiles, dinosaurs are prehistoric. Our dinosaurs and prehistoric life in general is my next main interest, and it's partially dinosaurs which got me interested in reptiles to begin with, which is like 75% of reptile people love dinosaurs as a kid. Although I don't trust anybody who didn't like dinosaurs as a kid because they're fucking awesome. My daughter,
It is a tough one.
you didn't like dinosaurs as a kid? We're divorced.
It's
Go
not
away.
that I didn't like them. I just
Go the fuck away.
didn't care about them.
So when Joe was like 2.5, we took her to this like
If that.
traveling dinosaur experience with big animatronic dinosaurs, and,
Oh yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
she fucking loved it. And then we went to the little gift section there later to get her to buy something. Like, hey, and we showed her all the stuffed animals. She didn't want a single one of the stuffed animals. She ended up getting this hard plastic ankylosaurus. For those that don't know, it's an armored dinosaur with spikes on it. And this 2.5-year
The
old,
hardest freaking plastic toy
it was the only thing she wanted, and she slept with that thing for like 6 months.
We would have to go like take it away from her. We'd let her fall asleep with it, and then I'd go take it away because I was afraid she was.
Yeah.
She just brought it from across the hallway.
With a bandana on
It's
it now.
got her camp bandana
It's got
on it.
spikes on
but
it.
it's, I mean, this sucker,
Yeah,
it was
you could hear it.
terrifying.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Hard plastic.
We tried so hard to talk her into a stuffed animal.
Was
and
not
she
fucking
not
happening.
having it.
She got that
Logan,
ankle
when
sore.
he was about 2, we went to the outlet mall in Lamarck when it first opened up, and we were in the KB Toy outlet, and they had a big T-Rex that was about as tall as he was.
We just aged us
And-
all right there because we all know what KB Toys is.
Yep. And he talked me into he didn't really have to talk me into it, but he bought it, and I bought it for him, and he carried that thing around, and it would literally, he would hold it by the middle of the body, and the feet were like this far off the ground because it's so big. And
She had one for a long time that somebody gave her because it was a gift for their child. And the eyes
Way to go,
would
Jerry.
light up red when you would push its front
Yeah.
foot or paw or whatever. And it would go raw, and its
Wait,
eyes
how
would
was that
glow
again?
red. You heard me the first time. I'm not repeating
I'm not
myself.
sure. I may have to find that sound and save that for future episodes.
But it was we probably still have that stuffed animal somewhere.
Ugh. Anyways,
Oh no, she says we
So-
got rid of it.
I agree with Ryan. Dinosaur stuff is cool. I still want to get a trilobite. I want a trilobite fossil so bad.
I got one of them somewhere.
They're really cool. Trilobites are probably the most amazing animal to ever live.
Well, it's
Because-
about the most popular fossil, isn't it? Isn't that kind of like what everybody
Well-
tries to get? It's a trilobite and like a shark tooth of some kind.
Well, the thing about trilobites is they were in the fossil record for so long, longer than everything else. And you had so many different species. You had some the size of cars, you had small ones, but it's basically a prehistoric aquatic roly-poly.
Yeah.
And you see their fossils everywhere.
Yeah, I was like, this looks like an isopod.
Yeah, it's
When I was a kid, they had them kits where you could buy them and they'd come with like freeze dry. Or I don't know how they did it, but you'd add water. These things could be dead in a package for fucking.
those-
you
those
add
are different.
water
Those
and
are
come
sea
out.
Those are
monkeys.
sea monkeys.
those are different.
I thought they had a trilobite. I had
No,
a trilobite.
trilobites have been extinct for a long time.
I had.
You had
full
sea monkeys.
kits,
They lied to you.
Huh? Then
Yeah,
that-
because
They used-
anytime there's any type of animal related Secret Santa, James is gonna buy
Sea monkeys.
freaking sea monkeys, and that's his gift.
Every time we play Secret Santa, where they're like, "All right, bring an animal themed gift," I'm like, "Fuck yeah, sea monkeys! Here it comes."
My problem was I had a sea monkey kit. My mom bought me one. I wouldn't shut the fuck up about it. She finally got it for me. And then I didn't realize that like they come through a stage where they could all quote unquote appear dead, but they're gonna rebirth or whatnot. And so I just flushed it down the toilet without talking to anybody, and I just flushed it. My mom was like, "Bro, what the hell? Why'd you?"
I can't remember if it was The Simpsons or South Park, or maybe both. I think they both had episodes where sea monkeys like started their own culture and everything. Anyways, back to this. Dominic Carbano said, "For me, it's all about Australian pythons, but if it wasn't and it was legal where I live, I think I'd breed skunks.
Huh.
Skunks.
I heard they make good pets.
They're like a cat. You can litter train them, and I know some
Do
people that want-
Alana.
It'd be cool.
Alana wants one
Ilana
so
wants
damn
skunk.
bad.
Can you have
Jennifer-
one in Texas?
No,
no, not without a
that's
permit.
why she wants
You gotta have a
one.
special
Or
like,
and the
you
permit's
can get
been
one
really
with a
awesome.
permit.
but it's a hard permit to get. It's
Oh.
not very easy. They have them up north because they have like skunk shows. Same way we have a dog show.
Mm-hmm.
They have skunk shows.
Tennessee's a big state for those for skunks. I know some people that could sell you like 4 or 5 different. I don't know. In
Like different colors.
mammals,
Different,
maybe you call it morph. I don't know.
it's a color. It's a color morph. It's a color morph or hair. Like there's some with like longer,
Yeah.
silkier hair. And
There's like a chocolate one. There's like a bluish one. It's like a gunmetal blue and white. And that one was
Ooh, I bet that's
expensive.
pretty.
Yeah, but not cheap.
Oh, I imagine not.
let's see. Jennifer Collier Simpson said, "Rocks, books, guns, and art." That's quite the collection there, Jennifer. Ryan Cox said, "Firearms." Well, he can also add an amazing mandala to his wall because that's who won our mandala last week. Is Ryan Cox?
Oh, okay.
I'm pissed off because I want that. Our buddy Megan, she posted, "I've been collecting antique books since I was a teenager. My favorite is a first edition of Titanic published in 1912. It's a family heirloom. I love the history, and I've always had a big imagination. Opening an old book and seeing someone's handwriting from 1830 is half the fun."
Dude,
That is
that's
kind of
cool.
It's like a
Yeah.
small time machine. When you do that stuff, it's like I've got one reptile book that's it's ancient as fuck. It's falling apart. I got to find like one of those book surgeons or whatever to fix it. But that is cool. Jason Brumley, who we had on last week, says, "If I were not collecting reptiles, then my record collection would be absolutely insane. I kind of have a balance between both right now. Why? Because life is better with music." That's true.
Amen to that.
He's not wrong at all. And records
No.
sound great. I mean,
I love my
personally,
records.
I don't like the holiday, all the Christmas music. Like, it'll be okay for a week. It's gonna get real bad, but you throw one on an old vinyl record, especially like, my favorite one is I forgot the name of the guy, but that old Holiday Inn movie when he does White Christmas. That's my favorite. When he does it, that's my favorite.
Bing Crosby, isn't it?
I don't know. It's the guy
Bing
that was in the movie too, but he's got a great voice for the song. And if you get the vinyl record, my mom used to have it. If you get that and you listen to him on the record, I just think it sounds great.
I'm almost positive it's Bing Crosby.
Could be, as long as it's not Mariah Carey during Christmas.
Yeah, Holiday Inn. It's Fred Astaire and Bing Crosby.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, but it's Irving Berlin, so it may be Irving Berlin that's doing the singing, or one of them.
Anyways, Christian Parr said guitars and gun stuff.
Nice, lots of guns.
Our buddy Ilana said I'd probably be collecting candles that were free because before I collected animals, I was a huge couponer. You may want to go back to that. It would save you some money. Just saying. And
Maybe
nowadays,
you can teach me how to do it.
coupons are probably a great thing to have.
Yeah.
Stephen Livingston says I also collect Magic the Gathering cards. I tried that once. I couldn't get into the game, but I had some cards.
My brothers played.
I'm a Pokemon kid. I
love
collected
Pokemon.
the cards, but I didn't battle. I just collected the shit out of the cards.
I did both. I used to go to Books a Million.
Your brother.
Which one?
Not Seth.
Okay.
No,
Seth didn't do any of that.
No.
My other brothers.
You got any of them Charizards?
Oh, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, no, I don't know that. Seth doesn't do Dungeons and Dragons.
Seth does beer and baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Seth.
Beer and
I
baseball.
have 3 brothers. The other two
are the same.
Are into
Gotcha.
the comic books and all that.
Let's see. Brian McDowell said animal skulls, and mostly because I'd lose space quickly if I had full skeletons of animals I want and collect. Yeah, that's true. Morgan Booth Young said I collect fridge magnets and coffee mugs from places I've been. It's fun to look at them and see all
That's
the
a
places
really
I've
common one, man. I know a lot of people do coffee mugs.
My mom did spoons, those little spoons.
What do you mean did?
She does,
Still has them all.
She still has them, but they're not. I guess I don't know where they're at.
Yeah, they're in storage.
Well, they're somewhere.
They were one of the few things we weren't allowed
Couldn't
to
get rid
sell.
of little tiny spoons. I remember we used to always just buy our little spoons when we went somewhere.
My grandmother collected thimbles from places. Like you could buy like metal thimbles.
Yeah, it's right next to the useless tiny spoons.
I'm just saying.
They're on the same shelf in the same
Like
souvenir shop.
That's the man who collects stickers.
I don't collect stickers. Every reptile person gets stickers from other reptile people. Look at the back of Robert's computer.
I have a stack of them at home that I don't have room for.
I've got a giant white freezer that needs to be covered in stickers.
There's a Pineapple Exotic.
Pineapple
right
Exotics one.
And
That
there's a No Drama one.
I've got a Pineapple Exotics one that I got to put on a black background.
I have it. It's sitting
And
on top of the
this
background.
Pink GFE thing.
My Pineapple Exotics will go in my
the
freezer.
new sticker after Sean's kids redid their logo, because I thought they did a really good job on that sticker.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
It looks
it's awesome
nice.
sticker.
Yeah.
Let's see.
A couple of these people can go.
That Lone Star.
You might not
Yeah,
make
fuck
the
that.
cut.
Fuck that Lone Star guy.
Uh-oh.
I've got several of those.
Not Earl. Earl's a good guy. I
Oh,
actually
no,
spoke with him today.
No.
When he says Lone Star, he means me.
Oh.
No, but I've got that Corey Martin sticker. I love the show. I got 2, I think. I've got the holographic and the non-holographic. I got the
You know
Herc
what I
sticker.
don't have? Texas Reptile. Or what is Hiding Jacks?
I got a T-shirt from them,
Jeez.
but I've never seen them have.
Isn't
I
it
don't have a sticker or anything from
is
them.
it Texas Star Reptile?
Sure.
Ball python.
Hiding
motherfucker,
Jack.
or
I don't know. It's just
Hiding Jack.
Hiding
It's on the
Jack.
table with the fucking ball pythons.
And like Cody. I don't know his business name. It's Cody. Cody.
You're
X.
talking
That's
about Blackbeard?
There's Blackbeard Balls. Cody also.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're talking about
There's
The
2
other dude, the big
Codys.
dude.
Kodiak.
Beard. Yeah, Kodiak.
Yeah, he looks like a pirate.
Yep.
Yeah.
The fuck?
Well, he doesn't on
Wait,
purpose. He
you're
calls
talking about
himself
Blackbeard. He looks like a pirate. You're talking about the one that looks like Sasquatch. There's 2 different guys.
Looks like me.
There's 2 Codys.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Kodiak.
There's a Cody that is Jared size and a Cody that is Robert size.
And then if you go to the
Jared
Colorado show, there's another Cody
Oh Lord.
that vends that show.
Too many fucking Codys.
Jeez.
Dominic DeFalco said, I've been collecting coins since I was 5.
Oh, hey, that's me right there. I got me a whole coin collection, man. I got some crazy shit from different countries, and my best piece is I knew this kid back in Arkansas in some Revolutionary War territory. He was stomping around for crawfish in a creek and stepped in the mud and stepped on this big coin. and I bought it off of him, and then took it to a coin appraiser to see if it was real because it was pretty large. It was larger than what most coin currencies would be, including like the Morgan dollars and all that. And it turned out to be like a 1771 something coin, and you can still see some of the face and stuff on it. That's probably my craziest piece. And it was pretty rusted and everything, and in its current condition, it was worth like $896 or something like that.
Jeez.
Yeah, I keep that one for sure. It's not for sale.
Dominique's reason for coins is very similar to Megan's reason for books. She says she loves the history of coins. I like to look at a penny from 1912 and think of everything it has been through and of what it could have bought. Like a penny was food during the Depression. You could have bought
absolutely.
And then she says, nowadays I'm annoyed when I have pennies. It's really humbling to hold history.
Or like World War II coins when they started swapping out certain metals because they needed it. You know, I've got some.
The dimes.
Yeah, I've got steel pennies. Those are not very common at all because they're only made for a handful of years. But yeah, I think that history side of it's kind of cool too.
Our buddy Maria says she collects a lot of things. That's obvious.
Matacola, or however you say her last name.
Good job. Yeah, Matacola.
Well, I did it. Oh,
Matacola. Rocks and fossils are probably one of the things I've collected the longest. Mark Anderson says I have lots of amazing fish in a 1,000-gallon tank.
Holy crap!
That's
I need pictures of that.
I'm gonna need Mark Anderson to post a picture of his 1,000.
Make a comment on that and say we're gonna need.
He better not move houses. Fuck that.
No shit.
I know. Paul McIntyre said marbles. I figured Paul had lost.
We've got a 55-gallon. We're going to be moving in 2 weeks, and I'm not excited about that.
Yes.
I used to collect marbles, and then I lost all my marbles.
Yeah,
not surprised. Kevin Vonderlip. I really got to learn to pronounce. I think I pronounce it right.
One of my favorite memories ever is of my little child.
I'm
talking about marbles. She comes running in. She was like 4.
She's doing a job.
She comes running in the kitchen, and she's like, "Mama, I found all my marbles," and it was like just a very funny moment for me. I know I like to annoy you.
Anyways, Kevin said he collects defeats.
Like feet pics?
No, well, not what? No, not. I don't. He may. I don't know. He's
what does
European.
Mean by
they are weird.
Like
he was trying to be funny. You know, Europeans aren't funny. It's just
like
Monty
when
Python.
You
That's
lose
about it.
things, like a defeat, like you lost the battle.
Yes, defeat.
That's and then
I don't understand.
Monty Python's the only funny thing to come out of Europe. So
okay.
He can't help it. They're just not funny.
I want clarification. What are you being defeated at doing? I need more information.
Speaking of collections, I don't collect much. I would love to. What do I collect a lot of?
You collect all kinds of shit.
No, I don't.
You have records.
I have 2.
You have Funko Pops.
I have 2 crates of records.
You have Funko Pops.
Just 2 small record crate or milk crates of records. I have like 6 Funko Pops, of which you've bought all of them for me.
You have.
They're all reptile related.
Anything bacon imaginable.
That's because my mom keeps buying me bacon shit. I just want bacon. I don't need bacon Band-Aids. I don't need.
She bought us those one year. They were fun.
I just want bacon. Buy me bacon.
I feel like you can't go wrong with bacon. Like
you can't go wrong with just bacon.
Gets a bag. He gets
I get,
a bag
all
every
the stupid
year,
bacon
like
shit you find.
Bag.
Yeah. That's like when people ask me, "How do you like your bacon?" Yes.
No. Whoa. Not the way IHOP serves it.
That was not bacon.
I don't like it. So I don't like it when it's gummy, and then I don't like it burnt. I like it kind of like almost a jerky chew, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't want it super crispy, but that shit could be damn near raw, and I'll eat the fuck out of it.
I love bacon.
Yeah.
That shit they served me at IHOP was strips of sadness and like children's tears.
But it wasn't it almost looked like bologna, but it wasn't bologna because bologna has flavor.
I don't know what
fried bologna is good.
And a first name.
Shut the fuck up. Also, books. You can't say anything about books. These are all the books I have. People can see my entire book collection here.
Shut your face. Don't you judge me.
You threw it. So anyways, I collect snakes. That's it. If I didn't, I would probably have remote control helicopters and drones. But I can't afford those things, so I don't have any of them.
I'm charging mine right now to take this weekend because me and Max and Sean are going to race them.
Oh.
And see, I don't get to do any of that shit.
So you have little reptile knick-knack things. They're just not up on the wall.
But that's every reptile person will buy anything that's reptile related. I guarantee Jarod has shit.
Dude, I was at my apartment, of course, I'm not supposed to have any of the animals I have, which you can look behind me and see there's a quite
You're
a
not
few
at your apartment, right? He's not at his apartment. Those are not at his apartment because he can't.
Yeah. This is my separate.
He's at the shop tonight.
He's at a shop.
Yeah, this is my little warehouse. I rent that too. But when I go out to let my dog to the bathroom, I don't want to wear a reptile shirt. You know what I mean? Because I don't want because the manager ladies walk around and stuff. And I came to a realization like a month ago. I was like, do you know how hard it is for me to go through my closet and find a shirt that doesn't have, like I got Blake Wilson shirts,
That's because you're the size person that can get that shit.
Yeah.
You know how hard it is for me to find a shirt I can fucking wear?
I feel you, bro.
Look, it took a year and a half for Corey Martin to finally get a shirt in my size.
Me too.
And she was so excited.
I love that shirt. I wear it all the time.
That shirt.
What size shirt do you wear? Is it a hard
3X.
size? Oh, that's not bad. I order 3Xs all the time.
3Xs always cost more money, and people rarely ever have them. They only get like 3, and for some reason, fat people always buy shirts.
Have I ever given you a pineapple shirt?
I don't have one now.
Oh, dude, I got you. I'll hook you up next time I order them.
I need more shirts.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I have your logo actually.
Mine?
I think so.
Thief.
Because I used it for the quilt.
I didn't get
I do. I have to find it.
I paid a tattoo artist to design that logo for me.
That's cool.
Our Reptile Gumbo podcast logo is a tattoo artist.
Well, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I'm not creative at all. And I made a contest, and the people that were sending me clip art bullshit. And so I thought, well, who is somebody that sits there and it's their job to help someone figure out the design they want? And that's a tattoo artist. But when I walked in and I told him, I was like, hey, I need to drop a design. I need to do this. And then we got to the part where he's like, okay, so where do you want to put it? And I was like, oh, no, I just need the design. I don't need a tattoo. And he's like, wait, what? He's like, I've been doing this like 12 years, homie. I've never had somebody come in like this and not get a not actually get the thing tattooed. And I was like, well, I'm afraid of needles, so you ain't coming nowhere near me, motherfucker.
I'm there with you. Afraid of needles, I can't do pain, and the one I'd want would cost way too much, and I'd rather spend that money on actual snakes than a tattoo.
Pain doesn't bother me, man.
I'm a bitch.
But needles do. And I have one tattoo because my best friend, when we were 13, we said we get tattoos together. When his mom died and he wanted to get a tribute to her, I was put on the spot. When I came for the funeral, it was all last minute. I was like, fuck, I got to get a tattoo. So I just got a random bullshit Star Wars tattoo.
So you got a tattoo artist right there next to the casket just tattooing kids that came up?
I have to say this.
But,
I just got a message from somebody looking for a charcuterie board, but they asked if I make shark coochie boards.
Shark coochie boards? Shark coochies.
Oh my god!
Fancy shark coochie boards.
You gotta chop off. That's a lot of sharks. So when they're chopping off the fins, you chop off the coochies and make shark coochie boards.
Yep.
Just a bunch of shark bodies floating around the ocean with no fins or coochies.
You know what I think is crazy about
I
that
told him no.
is that shark meat is actually really fucking good. So I don't understand why they don't use the whole thing.
If shark meat is good, if you prepare it correctly, from the time you catch the shark, you have to get the gills out of it. You have to bleed them.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
yeah, but if you're gonna
not fucking good at
the
all.
fucking fin, you might as well get everything you can. If you're a fisherman and you sell it to a fish market, that's just more money.
But they're not doing that. That involves having to clean it. It's the fin brings way more money than the whole shark.
Yep.
There's no reason to waste the money on having to prepare the shark, store the shark, sell the shark, when the fin will get you far more money for far less work.
I just can't do it, man. I'm a hunter. I hunt a little bit, and I've done elk, deer, duck, all sorts of shit. But the thing to me is that I was always raised and grew up that if you're gonna kill an animal, it doesn't matter if it's a fucking rat because you're gonna feed a snake. It doesn't matter what it is. The conditions are is it doesn't suffer. You put it down as quick as physically possible. I don't care if you're worried about your taxidermy piece for your deer or something. If that deer's sitting there struggling, I mean, fuck your taxidermy piece, put another round in it and then it's suffering. But my other thing is that you use every fucking thing that you can because you're taking a life and you're sacrificing something for your needs, whether it be because you're just a hunter and it's a sport you do. But, I don't know. That's why the shark fin soup thing specifically really leaves me unsettled because
Absolutely.
That shark has got to sink to the fucking bottom while it's still alive, and it's basically got to pass out down there after a certain amount of time, if it even bleeds out. I mean, it's just, and then you don't even use everything. I mean, you can sell the teeth because people like that shit. Whatever.
I can't tell you how many hunters, when I used to guide hunts, would shoot their deer. They'd spend, $5 or $6, $10 grand to come shoot a deer. and
They just want the antler.
they'd ask me, "Hey, do you want the meat?" Or they'd come shoot a red stag, or they'd come shoot a scimitar horn oryx or something. Hey, do you know anybody that might want the meat? Fuck yeah, I do. I got it. Sign this paper right here. This wildlife transfer document.
So that's like when you always get folks the anti-hunting people when they get pissed off about like these guided hunts in Africa for hunting zebra or hunting whatever the animal may be. But most of those hunts, that meat goes to locals.
Every one of those they do.
Yeah, it's they feed locals that meat, and so
there's a saying,
it's kind of a fine line though, because some of the animals that they let you hunt over there, it's kind of fucked up, and then some of them are okay. Like most people don't realize, like hippos are like deer in Africa, like they're fucking everywhere. So
everywhere.
If you go out there and get a deer, basically a deer tag, but it's a hippo tag, and shoot a hippo, that's cool. But like giraffes are getting kind of they're a little more scarce, you know what I mean? And people go up and hunt giraffes, and lions aren't like super critically endangered yet, but look what happened to tigers. I mean, you're just talking a few more.
So the places that are doing it right, on the concessions in Africa that are doing it right, they're only taking out selective animals. They're taking out the old bulls that can't breed anymore but can still fight and keep the young bulls from breeding. They're taking out the old male lions or the old female lions.
Gotcha.
They're no longer producing. And there's a saying over there, Zimbabwe about 20 years ago banned all trophy hunting, and now there's no reason for the money to come into the country, and their animal population plummeted because
no one's
the hunters weren't paying. They didn't care. Now they're in the way of farming and things like that, so the locals are just killing them wholesale and just killing them and either eating them or letting them rot. And then the poachers come in and they call it bush meat.
Yeah,
they poach the bush meat, and there's a saying in that if it stays.
I think there's some people doing it right, and I think that if you're doing it right, it's okay and everything. But like, the problem is when you go into countries like that, and I know that a lot of Africa is actually pretty modern and pretty sophisticated. Oh, yeah. It's not as bad as fucking National Geographic makes it seem, but there's still a lot of impoverished people there.
Oh yeah.
So there's going to be people that aren't doing it right because they can make $1. And I mean, if it comes down. If you're an African native and it comes down to your family and you eating or not, well, you're probably going to lead somebody to a fucking giraffe to shoot the giraffe, no matter what the consequences are. And,
the thing about it is in Africa, if you get caught poaching, they fucking kill you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like here where you get a ticket.
Yeah.
But think about it like this. It's just like our industry. We have some people who are true flippers, buy an animal, sell it the same day on their table, have no idea if that animal eats, if that animal's sick, or if it's healthy. And then there's some people, a majority of the people that we know who do it right. They'll buy animals. Jared takes them home, makes sure that they're healthy.
Yeah.
And
because Jared's one, you don't breed everything you sell, but you don't sell stuff that is sick you're trying to get rid of before it dies on you.
Right.
No, because here's the thing is that I attach my first and last name to everything I sell, first off, and I sit there and tell customers, I tell every single one of my customers, I said, I am here after the sale to hold your hand too. If you want one of my famous lines that I do, well, it's famous in my own head. I'll be like, I don't care if you want to talk about as your animal grows, when, you can message me in a year when it's time for a bigger cage and you want to ask what to move to, or when it's time for a bigger meal, or the one I use all the time to bring some humor into it. And so I'll be like, I don't give a shit if your snake poops purple unicorn glitter sparkles, let's talk about it type deal. And the thing is that, so I've been vending for about 3 years now. And, I know for a fact that I haven't even replaced 5 animals. I know every single animal that I've ever had an issue of. And a couple of them were, one was a crested gecko, one's a Pac-Man frog that somebody brought out in the car and cooked it type deal. I put my name on everything, and so I'm extremely traceable. And I also, even if my business does well, if I gross highly on small tables and stuff, I don't have the funds to sit there and have to refund people, or if I have money in an animal, I don't want to have to give another animal up for replacement and stuff like that. So I try to make sure it's right the first time. And the other thing is that I really care about, I want the sale, I want to make the money, of course, but I also really care about what happens to the animal afterwards. And that's part of the reason why some people do it, some people don't. But I spend a lot of time during water changes and cage cleanings. I'll get the animal out during that when we're not associating with a feeding time, and touch them. I don't care if it's leopard, if it's anything besides frogs or bugs in my collection. It's going to have a certain amount of handling time before I bring it to a show, because I feel like I end up selling to a lot of newbies, or somebody they've had ball pythons, but they've never had a bearded dragon, or they never had a chameleon, or whatnot, and they need some coachings and stuff on that. If you have I feel like animals that are that got good temperament have a way higher chance of going home and being taken care of, because you sell a first-time snake owner who's even a freaking ball python or a Kenyan sand boa, and you send it home to them, they're striking and stuff. What's going to happen? That person's probably not really going to mess with the animal a whole lot. They're going to lose interest in it, and the animal's not going to get properly taken care of. So a lot of that is profiling your customers and stuff. I got some 18-year-old that's running up to my table and wants to buy my 4-foot reticulated python. He's never had one before. I don't care if he's got the money. I'm telling the motherfucker no, because that's a expert level. I believe a reticulated python to be an expert level snake. I think there's a lot of animals I think that you should own before you own a retic, if you want to own a retic.
With that said, anybody listening, we're not saying that the basic care of a retic requires you to be an expert reptile keeper, but the eventual care of your retic requires you to be an expert reptile keeper. They're bigger,
they're stronger, they're more intelligent, they can change their mind. Like, for example, I know some people use them every once in a while. I will never use a reticulated python as a picture snake at a show. A Burmese python all day long, but they don't suddenly just change their mind on things. I love reticulated pythons. I have some. I've got one right over here, I think 4th tub from the bottom. I've got one there. I've got one in the 6-footer right now. I used to have a whole breeding ordeal of retics, but I sold my extras when I realized the market was going way down for them and was probably never returning. Yeah, I mean, that's a very difficult animal, and a reason why ball pythons are so flooded is because anybody can keep one. They don't take up a whole lot of space. They're easy to manage. If you get bit by a ball python, I would just drop my jaw if you had to get stitches. It's just a whole completely different game. Male reticulated pythons can smell. As a male myself, they can smell my testosterone. I go out and work out or something, and I come into my room, especially during mating season. My male retic can pick up on that and not be happy with me. I've even noticed it with a male sulcata before, but ball pythons don't do that. And so, they can go into anybody's home. And that's why, even though that's probably the most flooded market, it still continues to thrive versus reticulated. Just don't make a great pet for, I think maybe 25% of us hobbyists, it might be an all right pet for, when you're looking at averages and the mass population of the reptile community.
Well, one thing you talked about earlier was you've only had to replace, like you said, like about 5 animals or so since you've been doing this.
Not even 5.
Not even 5.
I'm trying to think of the 4th, but I can think of 3 that I've had to do over the years. It was crested gecko, it was a Pac-Man frog, and then the last one was a ball python. These people put it on. I told them how to set it up, because I always do. And if it's a herp show, I send people to Andy Hine with my card to his table, and I say, hey, this is what you're looking for. Show them the animal, show them the card. And I've had a long conversation with those guys about, how I like stuff set up. So when they do with my customers, they set them up properly. But these people went home, they put it on a red light with a white light as well, on aspen bedding, with a hide kind of, but the snake couldn't even hide all the way. And then chose to message me on a baby ball python 5 months down the road. Never once mentioned, hey, it hasn't eaten this whole time, because I would have told them, black out the back and the sides of the tank, make a better hide, add a substrate that can hold humidity, like cocoa block, dirt, something like that, and get rid of the light bulbs. If you really need an above heat source, because I do just belly heat with my ball pythons, because they live underground and stuff, and they come out at night. Like, they don't want to be out in the light all day long. I would just tell them to get rid of that kind of stuff, but they didn't say anything to me for that many months on a baby that had all its meals and was shedding, pooping, and was good to go. But that was one.
So talking about them dying, I saw a thing on YouTube. It was a video by Reptiles and Research. And it was interesting. He kept finding articles that showed up that said 75% of reptiles die in the home within the first year. So he did some research on that and come to find out the only thing you can find is one, not even an actual like article. It's kind of a headline and a special little thing written by one guy who is anti keeping them as pets.
Okay.
But it's made to look like it's a professional, like scientific paper.
But it's not.
It's not. The guy cites himself in the thing, like his site, and then he cites some like old PETA articles.
Oh, God.
And that's what he cites.
Bring that name to make it a legitimate argument. PETA's
and so claims, and then it got used. That 75%. The guy when he was researching this found out it's been used several times. People didn't do enough research into it. They just saw that and they kept spewing out the 75% number. That 75%. And the original article, it didn't even say. It says companion animals, not even reptiles, but it became 75% of reptiles die in the home in the first year.
Well, I can see that with certain species. Let's be honest. Sulcatas, retics probably realistically because
the thing about it, I don't think they die in the first year. I don't think most reptiles, even in bad care, die in the first year. That's kind of the curse of most of the animals we like. Is that they're pretty good at dealing with a lot of shit, shy of like chameleons, which will die if you look at them wrong. Yeah. Someone out there with chameleons right now is going, no, well, fuck you. They're sensitive.
Yeah.
But you think of a sulcata. Sulcata can suffer for a long fucking time in very bad conditions.
That's shitty to think about.
Oh, it is. It's horrible.
Look at Savannah monitors. They get imported. You can get them on wholesale. Well, okay, never mind. I guess I won't release that to the customers on here so they know what we get.
I don't know if they are now, but they used to be $20 on a table at a show.
You can get them cheaper. Right when the season first hit and they're first coming in and you buy enough of them, you can get them cheaper than that shit wholesale.
Which is why it sucks for anybody trying to breed them because they're obviously not going to sell their captive bred babies anywhere close to that fucking price.
Well, most of them aren't going to thrive anyways. They just get sent straight over here and straight to the market, non-parasite treated, not quarantined, not anything. I think it's wrong. Nile monitors, ornates get the bad rap too. So, I mean, there's certain animals that I think that 75% death. I don't know if it's within the first year or not, but I would say that
he found most of them don't about the research thing. He found a place that did the research, and they really only found, I think it was a total of 3.something% of reptiles actually die in the first year. The other thing he said, the numbers, like you can't go by. Apparently, what he could understand, the original numbers the guy was pulling this random shit out of his ass was the amount of animals that are imported versus the amount of animals people say they have. Yeah. But then he made a good point, like. Not everybody's allowed to have the stuff where they live. So they're obviously not telling folks what they have, even though it came in.
Yeah.
What might be behind someone that we're talking to right now. They're not going to tell everybody about those things because they're not supposed to have them there. So they didn't die in the first year. They just aren't being talked about because they don't want to lose them.
Well, just you can just look at certain species, like how many green iguanas do you see get sold, but then how many times when people are rehoming and giving up with stuff, how often do you see an adult iguana? And if you do see one, how many of them are missing fingernails, broken spines, and a nose rub? Because people will put them in a mesh cage when I don't think they should personally, because most of the times I see iguanas come out or Chinese water dragons and stuff like that, and the front of their nose is squared off because it's rubbed raw and healed so many times. It's all they're
like literally dragons. I know more people that have not bought a bearded dragon, but yet own a bearded dragon.
Yep. The bearded dragons is probably one of the number one rehomed things that I see because a lot of people don't realize this. And I used to be a lot more involved in it, especially when I lived in Arkansas and I was real set and stable. I didn't have this job going on. I do rescues. I do rehomes. I take in things. But the thing is that you'll never see me. The reason why people don't know is because you'll never see me post it. You'll never see me bring it to a show. If I've got a for sale inventory, it's something that came from another vendor friend or another breeder of mine, type deal. But I've rehomed a lot of bearded dragons and stuff. I've taken in reticulated pythons with tongues missing, so they can't. I had this big one. His name was Big G. Because he was an orange glow, and one of his patterns was literally a perfect G. It looked just like the G off of what's the Minions? What's that movie? The yellow Minions. Yeah. The G
Not
that
Groot. Groot is the
Is the guy
Groot.
Despicable Me?
Groot. It's just
Yeah.
G. Yeah,
Groot.
Groot.
His little G, it looked just like that, so I named him Big G. But his tongue was almost gone all the way to the back of his mouth when I had gotten him, and he couldn't smell. He was super aggressive. That one ended up going to a buddy of mine that breeds reticulated pythons. But I know for a fact, even to this day, Big G is still alive, and he's never been used for that. He just needed to go. He was a danger to people because you couldn't. That was a snake that had been treated so poorly and so badly. And reticulated pythons are so intelligent; they remember. There was no going back, making that one nice again. I kind of enjoyed him, though. I'm not gonna lie. I just felt like he was kind of misunderstood. But yeah, I do a little bit of the rescues and stuff too. But I don't have as much room for that anymore as I used to, or time. And you'll never see me advertise one. I've seen plenty of bearded dragons with MBD, messed up crooked legs.
The one that we have in our classroom is a rescue that had MBD.
Yeah,
and she's doing much better now, obviously, because she gets the care she needs. But
they're not cheap compared to a lot of other animals. You know what I mean? When you're spending $50, $60 and $80 in light bulbs, and you're doing it pretty regularly, I mean, some people don't realize, bearded dragons are going to cost you a couple $100 to get set up, and then you're going to maintain their lights and all that. And that's where you get the MBD in, is people don't take the time to swap out bulbs, or people don't. You can tell them as much as you want. They don't realize that those UVB bulbs only last a certain amount of time, and they'll stay just as bright, but the UVB goes off. And if you don't have
on which UVB bulb you buy.
Yeah, and if you don't have a UVB bulb tester, which is an expense, when I've looked them up before, they're decently expensive to actually test and see if UVB is coming out of your light bulb. Then
you can always check out VivTech. VivTech has an affordable UVB tester and a bulb that'll last about 4 years or more.
Yeah, because
you're gonna now. Here's
LED.
the thing, though. You're gonna
awesome,
drop. I paid $80 for this light bulb, but
they're LED light bulbs.
The backing that comes with it is 100% worth it.
I've told the story on here a couple times, but Jarod obviously hasn't heard it.
Yeah,
I got one the day that he released them. I ordered it, so I had it a few days later. And we have that bearded dragon that's in that tank down in the living room. We were sitting the other night. When I put that light on her, I took a T5 that had been on her for about 6 months off and put that on the other end of her enclosure. And as soon as I turned it on, she picked her head up and looked that way and ran from one end of the enclosure to the other and spread out under that UV light.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an LED that produces UVB, is what you're saying?
Yeah, it produces it's a UVB.
And it continues to produce UVB for years.
He guarantees 2 years.
But he's had them test for 4.
For 4.
That's cool.
It's UVB, UVA, and a grow light.
Yep.
Because I'm sick and tired. Power Sun is one of the better ones for an all-in-one bulb, type deal, but they burn out like a motherfucker. I'm sick and tired of Power Suns. Yep. I've bought them from Andy Hines' booth. I've bought them from pet stores. I've ordered them online. They're not reliable, and they're expensive as shit. So, that's cool. I've messaged you about that. I might have to order one. I'll put it on my Rhino iguana and test it out.
Those are good. So one of the things I saw on YouTube, and this one's funny. This is actually a part 2 of a video that Emily did over on Snake Discovery. She did the first one probably a year ago, maybe less. But she bought shit off of Wish, reptile related stuff off of Wish. And I know you've probably seen this pop up on like Facebook on Wish, but Wish has a snake rack that you can buy. She ordered that last time, and it's like 1.5 feet tall. It's got a slide in like a heat pad that goes down the back. It's got these small little tubs, which actually have like a ramp on it, as if it's a turtle tub. Mm-hmm. But it's smaller than a shoebox. It'll hold like baby hog noses.
Yep.
But when you get the picture on Wish, it looks so much bigger. This time around, she got 2 water features for chameleons, because chameleons won't drink still water, so they have to drink moving water.
Right.
And the problem was she got both of them. She set them up. They looked nice. She plugged them in. They didn't work because they're obviously made in Europe. And they're not made they weren't getting enough power out of the wall, so they had to use a converter to get enough power into the pump to pump the water up through it. So it's great if you're in Europe. Doesn't work great if you're in the United States. Then she bought a turtle enclosure which is very similar to the old school, like just a little plastic tub with a ramp and a little fake palm tree,
Yeah.
and a little land area and then she puts her like full grown turtle in it and it takes up half the thing.
Key.
That was pretty good. She bought a decorative vine. She showed 2 normal reptile vines and then this one, which had like the thinnest, almost like a bread tie wire through it. So it wouldn't hold shape. It would just fall down. And so that was a funny one.
Ordering something like that off Wish sounds like a fire hazard to me.
Yeah, it was pretty good because like we see these things on Facebook. We see Wish is one of those ones that will pop up if you search something on Amazon that's reptile related. You get the Wish shit popping up on Facebook as you scroll through.
Yeah,
and I've seen these things. I've seen that rack multiple times pop up on there, and seeing her get it. They've had it for a year now or so, and they still have yet to put anything in it. That tells you anything. It's still empty. They're still able to show it again in this video. So I thought that was funny. I saw that on YouTube.
Yep.
Then I also watched our buddy, my brain's went blank, High Desert Pythons, which is
Antoine.
My brain just doesn't work. Antoine went to, apparently there was a VIP viewing at Canova if you were a Patreon. And there was actually some faces I saw in the crowd that I actually knew. But they were going around looking at the Canova thing. And the hardest thing for me to get used to is anybody that's ever watched JKR's old videos is that blue wall that says Kabilko on it. And now it's a gray wall that says Canova. That was the hardest thing for me to get used to. I'm like, that's a weird looking wall.
I saw that he swapped his name, and I was actually, when I had looked at it, I was scrolling and my notifications, just clearing them out while I was actually standing on top of a roof. Why did he change his name?
There's a lot of stuff. He says basically he outgrew the name that he had, and it was time for a change, and he wanted a brand, a different branding of the business. There's a whole lot to it.
Kabilka Innovation.
Yeah.
Is what Canova is. But it's the same amount of syllables as Kabilka. And they put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah. Well, I remember when he came out with them Pompeii clowns. Whew, that's a sexy ball python, man.
Yeah.
I saw one of the coolest ball pythons this weekend at who was it behind us that had the hogs?
Tom Harbin.
At Tom Harbin. Tom Harbin had that rainbow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was fucking pink, like pink, not like I can see where it would be pink, but it's an albino snake that's not any of the other albinos, and it's fucking pink. It's yellow and bright ass like Pepto-Bismol pink.
That's pretty cool. You think it'll keep that till adulthood, or
he says it keeps the pinks into adulthood.
How much did he want for it? That's the question.
It was a lot.
Like 5 G's, 10 G's.
It was 5 or 6.
Yeah, I think it was 6,500.
He had a couple of cool things. He had that really cool, like almost paradox palmetto corn.
Mm-hmm.
It had splotches of color along with the polka dot, and he told me it's not reproducible. They've tried.
That corn has to be super cool because you're the third person I have heard
about that corn
this last weekend about that damn corn, that palmetto corn snake. It must have been
pretty. It was pretty, but like he said, it's not reproducible. He hadn't been able to. And then the last thing he sold on Sunday was the one thing all weekend I loved looking at, but I didn't have any money to buy it. Was that Okatee? He had an amazing looking male Okatee for sale, corn on the table.
Yep.
And then he had that solar flare hog nose, which is just solid red.
Yeah,
pretty.
So those
he's always got cool stuff on the table.
And he was right next to us the whole weekend, so I just kept seeing it every time we'd walk by. That was cool. Other cool thing I saw this weekend, Pinnell had that cat eye snake that I thought was really neat.
Mm-hmm.
Madagascar cat eye snake. That was really cool.
He's got the female on the table for like $350 or some shit.
Yeah, he had a female there. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about it myself. I was like, I don't need it. That's
on top of those cool things at the show. The very last thing that I saw get bought at the show was by Robert. So we were walking by our buddy Russell's table, who has corn snakes, and I looked, and there were 5 deli cups of what looks like a corn snake, but it was very dark. And I was like,
"Oh yeah."
I said, "Hey Russ, well, what is this?" And after he messed the name up a couple of times, Robert finally realized what he was saying. They were Slowinski eye rat snakes, corn snakes.
I just saw those at Robert's house. That it's interesting. It looks like a corn and a rat snake like came together.
They're found in a small, between Texas and Louisiana, in a small area. They get big. They get 5 to 6 foot, pretty big around for a corn snake. I mean, they are almost rat snake size. but they are really cool. They turn this kind of a really pretty darker brown color when they're full grown. And Robert got 5 of them. From Russell. So that's going to be a really cool project to see down the line because you don't see Slowinski that often. They are pretty big. I know our buddies, the Ruas, really liked Slowinski's corn.
Yeah, I think Amanda said they have an Annery one.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, yeah.
But I'm looking forward to watching those guys grow. That's going to be really cool.
Yep.
And then I saw some things on. So I want to go back. I thought about it earlier when we talked about the hunting. And this is not reptile related, but I saw it today on Facebook. And it's animal related anyways. A guy had shot a pied deer, a big pied buck. It was really pretty. It was white and gray, really pretty deer. And then, like shot this rare whatever. And so all the comments of people getting pissed about him shooting this rare animal. And that's where I realized, one, we're in a small group that we understand that an albino of something or an Annery of something, the word rare doesn't really go well with most of them. An albino corn snake is not rare.
No.
But the general public sees an albino corn snake. They go, it's albino. That thing must be expensive. It's rare. Right. And so
maybe
this
in
person,
1990.
yeah. And you can find, you see albino shit pop up in the wild all the time. I've seen so many albino cottonmouths in the last year between people I know and Facebook. So it's not that it's rare. The animal itself, the species itself, is not rare. And so people were getting pissed at this guy for shooting this deer, saying it was a rare deer and why would he shoot it? Should have let it go. It's so rare. It's a white-tailed deer. Yeah. It's not, the animal itself is not rare. The guy shot a deer the same way you would shoot any deer. This one just happened to be a fancy color. And letting it go and survive it's no different than him going, okay, let that one go.
And they're not as rare as people think they are.
Piebald shows up in any animal on the planet. Humans, dogs, fish.
There's populations of them in Wisconsin, right?
Like Wisconsin, there's areas of Wisconsin that
because you're not allowed to shoot them there.
You can't shoot them. You can't shoot piebald deer there. So
yeah,
there's areas where you go hunt. That's all you see.
Yeah,
piebald deer.
And so everybody got pissed at this deer. I'm like, it's no different than shooting any other deer. This one just was fancy colored. Like it's not any more special. It's not any more rare. So I saw that. I'm thinking there's a disconnect when people see the word rare. I'm like, it's not rare. It's a white-tailed deer. Like we have so many fucking white-tailed deer in the South right now that literally they are passing diseases onto each other left and right, and that is the biggest problem with them. But saw that. I just love the people freaking out over that whole concept of I couldn't believe he shot that. Cracked me up. And then I saw a couple other things on Facebook today that I thought was funny. Oh, one guy freaking out about how he fed his rainbow boa, and he said the snake always seems hungry.
Yes.
I'm like, I asked him, I was like, how do you know he always seems hungry? The answer was when he tries to eat my face. When he doesn't, I know he's good, and he only gets super aggressive the week of feeding. Any day a meal could come.
Are you freaking kidding me right now?
That's not how that fucking works,
That
dude.
is unacceptable.
That's a species known for having mood swings.
He probably takes it out and puts it in another enclosure to feed it.
But I'm like, I fucking hate when someone goes, oh, they're always hungry. How the fuck do you know when something's always hungry? So there was that, and let me see if I can find. I thought I posted the other picture of the conference. Oh, so one person said they're talking about the snake being obese because the guy was feeding like 2 medium rats every 2 weeks. This is a full-grown adult Brazilian rainbow eating 2 medium rats every 2. I was like, that's a little much. But the guy goes, people say they talk about obese snakes. He goes, people say that in my experience, that is not the case. If they were not hungry, we're not hungry, they would not eat, and I would not be worried because next week they would. That's not true. They're by nature they will eat whenever they're offered food, usually because historically, evolutionary wise, they don't know when the next meal fucking comes.
Yeah, they're opportunity ambush predators.
So you can 100% overfeed a snake. I have seen it many times. And that happens from fuckers going, my snake's always hungry. Food. My snake's always hungry. Food. And then you wonder why my snake died in 3 years. So I saw that and I'm like, it's people handing out information like that. Like, don't listen to them. What do they know? I'm like, you're a fucking retard. What do you know? Stop talking.
Yeah, and what do you know if you're one pet snake at home?
Oh, I saw another one. It's in a great group. I won't share the name, but it's in a great group. guy sells a gecko online, right? So the buyer purchases the gecko. He says, I need this gecko shipped to me the week of November 21st. The guy responds, I'm sorry, sir, but after this week, I will not be able to ship until mid-January or February at the earliest due to delays caused by holidays, which if you're listening, do not order a reptile or any other animal in the mail in the next 2 months.
Unless the breeder's going to hold it for you until it's shippable again.
Yes.
But holiday shipping is going to, you don't want your animal to get stuck for 4, 5, 6, 7 days with 48-hour heat in there. I mean,
so the seller,
the coldest part of the winter.
The seller offers says, I will hold the gecko for you until then. The buyer, I need it for my daughter's birthday and I'm out of town this week. You will ship it when I tell you to. I already paid for it. You can't just not send it to me. If you don't, I'll leave you a terrible review.
That's a refund.
And then the guy says,
No,
no. Hey, listen, the guy says, no, I won't. It's not safe. There is a high possibility of serious delays and I cannot guarantee live arrival. Buyer, I don't care if there are delays. I need this gecko. And then the guy sends the refund and says, I'm sorry, I don't feel comfortable doing business with you. Have a good day. And the buyer sends multiple threats and says he's going to sue the guy over fucking what? He got his money back.
Yeah.
But I love that one. Like, I don't care about the fucking animal. So that one is great.
That's probably one of them parents that's kid runs the fucking relationship. And so the parent doesn't want to be in trouble for not getting the kid what he wants to. You know what I mean?
That's the parent that just needs to shut the fuck up. Well, there's another one. A person posted a whole list of different feeder options for ball pythons and guinea pigs was on there, which is fine. People feed guinea pigs. But one person like threw a fucking fit over that people would recommend guinea pigs as food because guinea pigs are bred as pets. They are not food.
Why don't you
At the same time, they're talking about rats. Well, rats are also bred as pets. Yes, but they're also bred as feeders. Well, so are fucking guinea pigs. I'm like,
you can also travel down to South America where they don't call them guinea pigs, but they call them cuy, and they are raised like chickens.
Fucking eat them.
And everyone in the village eats them.
But I love that.
You get a little meat off that motherfucker, you know?
Get them big enough, you sure can.
This person was getting so upset that someone would feed a guinea pig. So I would never feed guinea pigs or hamsters to my animals because they are pets. I'm like, well, I know tons of people that own rats as pets.
I can't even imagine a ball python eating a guinea pig.
You can feed big ball python. You can feed them really small guinea pigs.
True.
But I've fed guinea pigs to boas. I know like some of the like retic guys will feed guinea pigs because you can get them. Rodent Pro sells guinea pigs, which is probably where this person was looking at. But just the fact that they drew the line on if they wouldn't keep it as a pet, they don't mind feeding it. But if they would keep it as a pet, you cannot feed that to anything. I was like, that's a weird line to draw in the sand. This was a great one. So, guy in a sulcata group posted a picture. Says, meet Fred. He's a baby sulcata tortoise who is coming to me today. I cannot wait to meet him.
Oh, this is a dumbass right here. This is the one you showed me.
First off, Fred is a star tortoise. Second, someone reverse Google searched the picture, and it definitely shows up on Google.
Yeah.
So there's so many levels of this. One, you obviously did not research shit if you saw a picture of a star tortoise and went, that's a sulcata.
Hey, I'll buy one for a sulcata price if someone wants to.
And then he's like,
no.
They were like, how much did you pay for it? $200. Everybody's like, then you're down there and you're not getting that for $200. It's not coming to you. Yeah. And it's definitely not. The guy, they looked at the profile, the guy that sold it was like a 1-day-old profile. So yeah.
You got scammed.
Research your shit.
I had a guy friend request me the other day, and his fucking profile photo is him holding a rattlesnake up that he caught. And I'm like,
you know why he's not smiling?
Yeah,
that
dude.
meth has knocked all his teeth out of his mouth.
Yeah, dude. I don't want to be friends with you. I don't want to be associated with you.
Speaking of rattlesnakes, is it too soon to talk about Yellowstone?
No, that shit was awesome.
So I don't actually watch it.
I haven't watched it. Did they use a real rattlesnake or did they use a bull snake?
No, it was a real rattlesnake.
Okay, so if you
hold on. Spoiler alert.
I was just about to say, if you watch Yellowstone and you have
if you watch Yellowstone and you haven't watched it in the week since it came on, I got nothing for you.
I got nothing for you. But spoiler. So, anyways, a bunch of my friends were blowing it up. I'll be honest. James and I watched like 30 minutes into the first episode,
I couldn't make it.
And I was like, "This is not for me." Like, I just get.
It is the best show on TV right now.
It's not a horrible show at all.
I'm not saying it's horrible. It's not me. It's not my kind of show, so it doesn't keep my energy.
I feel like had I had a larger project to work on that day, I probably could have binged a lot more episodes, but it was just it just wasn't for me at the moment. Now with that being said, because so many of my friends are into the show, I am that person. I will look up spoilers online just so I know what they're talking about and I can be involved in the conversation. So I did that for the opener because everybody was like, holy shit. And apparently, like, a guy died by a rattlesnake bite to the face. And it was
on the set, like an actor.
No, like on the show, like this.
Part
like,
of the script.
They quote unquote killed that. Yeah, it was part of the
Rip
script.
walks up to him with a cooler and says, "Is this yours? Is what yours? This what?" Fucking hits
Oh,
him in
you
the
know
face.
what?
Yes!
I saw the snippet of that scene on TikTok like yesterday. I was watching it. I saw that because I've seen Yellowstone up to a certain point. Yeah, I saw that video. I saw it with the snake bite on the face, and I kind of thought that it was really interesting. The fashion in which he died after the bite.
Yes.
Yeah, he died like a minute later, but it's for TV. I mean,
yeah, it was for TV. But just like the way that it was described in some of the articles that I read, I was like, that's pretty badass.
By the way, I like Victor's response. I've seen people eating guinea pigs in New York. I'm turning you down.
look, remember we went herping on the night before Halloween, right?
Yeah, something. Yeah,
and we didn't find shit. Here's somebody that went 10 flipping on Halloween and found 20 snakes. That's what I said.
Wow.
That time of year.
But yeah, anyway, so that was my fun animals in.
I did get
the news.
I got an email from
I got a U.S.
ARC.
Yeah,
I want to talk about it. There's a couple things in the recent U.S. ARC email that are very interesting. One is about Egyptian tortoises, and this will affect sellers of Egyptian tortoises. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has proposed to list the Egyptian tortoise as threatened under the Endangered Species Act, which would definitely alter your ability to get an Egyptian tortoise. And that's the comment deadline for that is January 10th, 2022. The one that I find more interesting because I know how the comments for this one are going to go.
Well, you mean a deadline to get an Egyptian tortoise?
No. It's not. They've proposed the idea.
So you can go
comment whether they should or should not,
and your reasons why.
And so, that's just it's up for proposal. The next one, which will be very interesting, is the alligator snapping turtle. U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has proposed to list the alligator snapping turtle as threatened under the Endangered Species Act. The comment deadline is January 10th, 2022. Here's some things why I find that very interesting. One, I fully believe the alligator snapping turtle should be protected. After living in the only state that it's not protected in some way or shape, it should totally be protected.
People in Arkansas eat them
like crazy in Louisiana too.
Like they use the shell as a bowl. And they'll use a common snapper, but apparently the alligator tastes better or something.
What's going to happen? Well, what's going to happen is that it is part of their culture, Cajun culture, to eat alligator snapping turtles, and they use them in sauce piquant, and they make it, and they love it. But the problem is there are stories historically of being able to drive through Louisiana and go down ditches and scoop up and fill up the back of your truck with good sized alligator snapping turtles. You can't do that anymore. They're not there like that. So when you find a big one now, it's pretty amazing because there's not a ton of big ones left. And so they're going to get a lot of kickback from a few states, one being for sure Louisiana. I'm interested to see how this goes. I hope that it passes. I love the alligator snapping turtle. I know it's one of Katie's favorite turtles.
It's actually one of my favorite turtles.
And I've worked with them before.
They're fucking lazy and it's awesome.
They're lazy until you feed them. And then they are very active. But
so why not in Louisiana? You have alligator farms for food and leather products from alligators. Why not have an alligator snapping turtle farm where all the Louisianans can go and buy an alligator snapping turtle and not touch the ones in the wild?
Well, there's a couple of things there. One, you live in the South. You understand people don't like being told what they cannot do.
Oh no, not at all. Especially
so being told that they cannot kill this turtle that their family has killed for generations is not going to go well at all. There are turtle farms, but I don't know how much meat comes from a turtle farm, and I'm all for farming them. I mean, the actual alligator, not the symbol. The alligator is probably the number one symbol of best way to save a species. The alligator was almost extinct at one point. We had killed a shit fucking ton of them, and they were almost extinct. You can find pictures from the early 1900s of just like riverbanks lined with dead alligators of every size. No one gave a shit, and we almost lost them. Then we protected them, and now there's the point where not only do we farm them, but there's hunting seasons, necessary hunting seasons, to keep the numbers in check, and it's taken very seriously. And the farmers actually have to put babies back into the wild. They have to add to the population. So I'm hoping the alligator snapping turtle can get some sort of situation like that, and we can try and bring back these numbers. Because right now, I'm pretty sure with a fishing license in Louisiana, you can collect 2 alligator snapping turtles per person, per vehicle, maybe a day. It's something like that. It's 2. Which, when you spread that out over a year, that's a lot of fucking alligator snapping turtles.
that can add up really quick.
Well, we're just taking 2. Well, you're taking 2, and your friend's taking 2, and then they're taking 2, and then tomorrow you're going to go do it again.
You'll always have the people too that take more. I mean, you've seen people show up with 30 catfish when they're supposed to have 6.
If you fish in Louisiana, Louisiana has some of the best fishing regulations of any state. You can keep 5 redfish, 1 over slot, because there's a certain size limit. You can keep 25 trout. Which
Texas is proposing to drop ours to 3 trout next year.
Yeah, so we can keep 25 trout in Louisiana because they do have really great fisheries there. But when you talk to someone from down in that area about catching your limit, your 5 redfish, your 25 trout, you always get, is it a limit or a Cajun limit? And a Cajun limit means you said fuck the limit and keep as many as you want to and take them all because you don't give a shit.
Sounds pretty Cajun.
Which is insane when you think the tagline for Louisiana is Sports is Paradise. Like, you're raping the paradise.
Yep. Only ticket I have ever gotten from a game warden was from a Louisiana game warden. And that was because we had one too many ducks in our bag. There was 5 of us. And we had, when their ducks are coming in thick and you're shooting them, sometimes you lose count.
Yeah.
And a lot of times oh shit, we have one too many.
That's an insane adrenaline rush on duck hunting.
And I had killed a cinnamon teal that morning, which is super rare to get.
Super rare? Why would you kill such a rare animal?
If you shut up, they're rare to get this far west.
I wouldn't kill that rare animal.
East. And he took it away from me. He took all of our ducks, took my cinnamon teal.
What a dickwad.
I was like holding it like this. And he was like, I see you over there, that cinnamon teal, son. You're not keeping that. I was like 17.
That's like, dude, can you just take one of these and we're back to
yes, take everything else, but let me keep this. Like, you go to California and get them all day long, but just not here.
So yeah, I saw that come across my email today before the podcast, and I thought I'm glad to see that alligator snapping turtles might have a chance of being respected the way they should be. They are amazing animals. If you've never dealt with one, a full-grown 100-pound alligator snapping turtle is insane. One, they've been measured to have jaw strength at about 1,000 pounds per square inch. And to give an idea,
crazy.
The largest crocodiles are at about 3,000 pounds per square inch. Mm-hmm. So an alligator snapping turtle is a third of the largest crocodile in a much smaller package. They have found them. They live for 100, 150 years. Mm-hmm. They have found them wounded in so many different ways. They're able to heal up. They're just amazing creatures. Then the fact that you add into the whole having a lure in their mouth to catch fish is just totally cool. They wiggle their tongue and they attract fish and then they catch them. And it's
Have you seen the pictures of them when they're frozen in ice and they do? I mean, I've seen alligators too, but like you'll see like there's one famous one that went around like 6-9 months ago or something like that, where you could see the top of the nostrils were above the ice and everything else was frozen in on it, and it was just stuck. And a hunter was out deer hunting. I think it was last deer season, and just happened to kind of look down and realize that he was sitting on a big alligator snapper that was just frozen. And then, of course, in the spring when that melts, they're going to come back. That's cool. That's resilient, and that's really cool, in my opinion.
Yeah, they're one of my favorite turtles. I just love, and it's funny because I didn't know anything about them until I moved to Louisiana. And I guess because we had such an awesome exhibit at the zoo and I would do talks and programs about them. And I freaking love alligator snapping turtles.
Hell, the Shreveport Aquarium, they have a section that is like a greenhouse you can go out into.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it's for the size that the aquarium is. I think it's really high quality. It's pretty good. Other than I didn't really like their axolotl section. They had way too many adults in the space, and they were all their gills were eaten up. But besides that, everything's really good. But they have a very large albino alligator snapper out there, and that thing is cool as shit.
They also have the largest bowfin I've ever seen in an aquarium.
Oh yeah,
which is one of my favorite fish on earth. Yeah. I love bowfins.
It's a good little aquarium. It's pretty cool. I've been to the one here in Houston too.
I'm a big fan of small aquarium. Like I love going to like Dallas has Dallas Aquarium. Is that what it is? Or the Aquarium of the World, whatever. That aquarium is amazing. It's massive. It's huge.
Mm-hmm.
But every now and then, like the little small aquariums are fun. Like where we got married on Dolphin Island in Alabama, and it's a small estuarium. It's an aquarium. When we got to have our engagement, our party inside the aquarium, so you don't have to decorate shit.
Yeah, we got married on the pier outside, and we actually ended up paying docents
You got to keep the touch
to
tanks open.
stay after hours. So all the touch tanks were open, all the like the kids that were there, all the interactive stuff was available. And literally we put like tablecloths on the tables and some shells on the table, and like that was it. Like that was, we didn't have to decorate anything because we were inside.
Yeah, these giant
yeah.
tanks. And there's one of them has like I love it. It's got a remote control submarine, and you put like $1 in, and you can drive the remote control. It's got a camera on it. You can drive like right up to fish. It's hilarious.
That's cool. I hate weightings, man. I'm not gonna lie, and I usually try to duck them, but I would have come to that one.
Ours was pretty cool. Nah. Yeah, ours was pretty cool. That was fun.
Yeah, I loved it. I was trying to think. Oh, one thing I do want to bring up. I haven't really listened to any podcasts lately. I need to. I know Warren Booth was on the Herpetoculture podcast, THP, and I love me some Warren.
You know
He's
when
awesome.
we might listen to some podcasts?
When?
Maybe we'll listen to podcasts on Sunday.
When
we clean out the garage.
That sounds miserable.
But it's going to be really cold on Sunday, though.
That sounds horrible.
Are y'all staying in, Brian?
Not Saturday night.
Me either. Are y'all staying Friday night?
No, we're going to drive up on Saturday.
We have to leave at like 2 or 3 o'clock on Saturday.
Yeah.
We have a Friendsgiving we're going to.
So,
and we missed it last year because we were at a show. So we're going to miss it this year.
So speaking of podcast, there is a new podcast coming at the beginning of next year. It's called In Blue, a reptile podcast. It'll be hosted by Robert. Do you want to see who's going to be hosted by?
Some bitches. I don't know. No. Heidi's perfectly nice. My wife. No.
They're good.
It would be my wife, Rachel, and Heidi Dunlap. And they're super excited about it.
Yes.
And
I'm excited for them.
They are going to do great.
They're going to. It's going to be a very interesting look at the hobby. I think different than what you hear on most. But it's going to be 2 of them, and it's going to be awesome.
You already got a list of guests for that podcast already?
It's Heidi and Rachel. They'll have a million people that'll do it.
I'm sure they've got that in the bag.
Throw me on. I'll do it.
Yeah.
I told them that is theirs. Heidi is, the logo is awesome. It's a very simple logo. I like it. The idea behind the podcast is great, but we should be starting their new podcast beginning of the new year. So we'll push it a lot till then.
Nice.
And then I've got another podcast in the works, maybe another 2. We'll see, but we'll get to those when they come. I think that's all I got. I don't have any other podcast stuff. That was big news.
I guess I want to give a shout out to Seth with
Huff's
Herps. We have a leopard gecko in our classroom. She's about 2 years old. And one of my students, the one who each week the kids rotate on who gets to be the class pet caretaker. And our leopard gecko caretaker for the week came up to me yesterday and she was like, Miss Lewis, Velma looks a little chunky. We might need to cut back on her food.
Which is great. It means these little kids are paying attention to the animals.
3rd graders. So they're 8-year-olds. Okay. And I was like, come show me what you're talking about. I was like, because their tails are supposed to be fat. She was like, it's not her tail, it's her belly. And I was like, wait a minute. What? So I went over and sure enough, like she almost looked bloated. And so of course I texted James and was like, hey, swing by school on your way home. Come look at her. And he was like, maybe she's starting to ovulate. That could be what it is. And so today, again, the kids were, she was a little upset. They're the caretaker for the week. And so I shot Seth a message on Facebook and was like, hey, this is what's going on. Here's some pictures. And he was like, oh yeah, she looks fabulous. You're doing great. She's exactly healthy like she should be. She's just wrapping up ovulation. She'll be fine in a day or 2. And so I told the 3rd graders that this is just something that happens when they get older and that it lasts for a few days and then it goes away because I didn't feel like going into ovulation with an 8-year-old. So but I appreciate that he was so quick to respond and about it.
One thing, we don't have a giveaway yet this month. We may not have one. We may just skip this month and do next month, do Christmas. Oh, we'll figure that out later.
We had offers. Just gotta say, we had offers.
But I do want to throw out there again. We do have a Patreon. We're trying to do some more things for the show, adding more shows, or we're trying to be able to take stuff on the road. We are hoping this weekend to have all of our recording stuff at the grand opening at the Herbst Reptile Shop and do a lot of little interviews there. So if you find it in your heart to go join our Patreon, $3 a month, $4 a month, $500 a month, whatever you want to do, we will gladly take anything so we can get a few more cameras, a little bit more equipment, also pay for some of the recording stuff. I just say that because, again, everyone that's putting out content has a Patreon. If you're watching them, listening to them, help them out. You're enjoying their content. Let them know you enjoy their content by helping out. And no one's asking for a ton unless you want to give a ton. Then I'll definitely ask for it. But
We'll take it. So.
I'll gladly take it. But I just want to throw that out there. I think that's all we have. We are going to, our Thanksgiving week is going to be just the three of us. And anybody listening, our plans for that week are to take calls. We are hoping to take a lot of calls. That is our plan for that week.
Well, good to know.
man, I haven't done a prank call in a long time. That sounds fun.
The great thing is I can hang up quickly.
So apparently sounds like we're having Thanksgiving at my house now with my family.
Fun.
No one else wants to do it.
You have fun with that?
My mom called us today. We're driving back from Lafayette. And yeah. I have a lot of work to do at my house before we have that many people over.
You have fun with that? Yeah, that's all I got.
I can be bought with food. I just want you to know.
Help clean.
Come on.
Darren said he's calling. That's awesome, Darren. Call in. That'll be our week it'll be in 2 weeks. We will do a lot of call-ins and we'll talk to a bunch of people. We'll ask you probably what you're thankful for in the hobby and all those kinds of things. This last 30 minutes went by.
And that week it will be on Tuesday.
Yeah, we'll be on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Next week.
Especially if I'm having Thanksgiving at my house.
Next week is up
2 days
in
later,
the air. We were
I'm
shooting.
saying Wednesday. If we did it on Wednesday, it would be the next day.
Oh, Thanksgiving is Thursday.
Yes,
Yeah,
always. Hadn't changed.
At least for 41 years that I remember.
We're hoping to have our show Tuesday next week.
Okay, never mind. You're talking about if we have the podcast.
Okay, we're turning off volume. All right, everybody can't talk now. So now only I can talk. It's a great thing about having the buttons. So next week,
asshole.
Next week we were planning for Tuesday, but it may end up being a Wednesday. We'll let y'all know.
Depends on our guests.
We will see. But I do want to have this guest on, so it may end up being a Wednesday. I've wanted to have him on for a while. That's all I got. That's it. I'm done. That's episode 90.
Yeah.
We're 10 away from 100. I got
my mic back on.
Your mic it's on. You're just
It is now.
just fucking loud. All right.
You know how to get a hold of all of us.
What's 10 weeks from now? Anybody know? I haven't looked.
It's after Christmas.
So in the new year.
Yes.
Yeah. So episode 100. I don't know what we're gonna do for episode 100. We'll have to figure out something.
It's gonna be crazy.
Very big.
All right, Jared. If people want to get a hold of you, how can they do that?
Smoke signals.
Yes. Smoke tricks especially will catch my attention. No, it's fine. Okay. So, of course, the business name is Pineapple Exotics. You can find it on Facebook. It's going to be a black and white, circular. It's actually based off Santa Cruz.
It says Pineapple Exotics.
Yep. And then
is a turtle.
The pineapple is a turtle.
Yes. And then for Instagram, it's pineapple_exotics. Pineapple Exotics on TikTok, and then the email is pineapple.exotics@gmail.com. Morph Market. I mean, I got all of it, so it's I'm the only Pineapple Exotics out there, so it's not hard to find me at all.
Awesome. Never noticed it was.
Yeah, I think I'm almost at 2,500 followers on the page, and I'm a little over a year old on the Facebook page because I was really late in the internet game. I didn't even start internet until COVID happened. And the shows got shut down.
How the fuck does a 26-year-old not have anything on the internet until they're like, hey,
because he lives in
because
they didn't get internet until 2019.
I was just doing great at shows, man, and I never shipped anything, and I never needed online anything. And then when shows shut down, I was a sitting duck for about 30 days, and I decided to get off my ass and make something happen.
So the Arkansas joke. I mean, someone posted a picture of a two-headed timber rattler that was apparently caught in Arkansas, and it looked kind of special. My comment was definitely looks like it's from Arkansas.
Yeah. So,
Oh, all right. If you want to get a hold of us, if you need a rack, it's lsreptileracks.com.
correct.
If you need to get a hold of us, is the Reptile Gumbo podcast on Instagram, on Facebook, and at gmail.com. Simply _serpents on Instagram, simply serpents on Facebook. I think that's it. Jared,
Cool.
I was glad to have you on. It's awesome. Thanks
Yeah,
for coming
thanks.
on, man.
Thanks for having me on, man. Enough time has passed, and you want a refresher, man. You're always welcome to reach out for me. I had fun. This is my second podcast ever, and I think
Next time we're gonna make you drive the hour here, and you can be next
Heck
to us.
yeah.
dude, I'll totally do that because I drive an hour for work like every day or more, so it's not shit to me.
Yeah. Next time you'll be in studio.
Heck yeah. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, I'll come do that.
Thank y'all all for listening. We will see y'all next week. Pay attention. We'll let you know if it's gonna be Wednesday or Tuesday.
Mhm.
We'll let you
Jared,
know.
stick around for a
Jared,
minute.
hang out. And good night to everybody else.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.